more small cap names to trade. He does not have enough.
Bring it up.
Clearly, he needs a few more here or there. So I think we can add Tilray to that list. Thank you so much, Shaolin, for the super chat. We'll be back at 2 o'clock, everybody. But right for now, you've got the professor, you've got Joey options. Go get them, boys.
Oh, boom! Greetings and salutations, beautiful people. Welcome to the Midday Show. This dude right here is Joey Options, is your boy Joey Options, and I am Sharif, and we're doing it live. We're doing it live. Only on this show. Shout out to Ronaldo.
Oh, okay.
Oh, hold on. We're going to get to that, Joe. We don't have to jump in so quickly. We got to shout out to the people, baby. All right, guys, I'm looking for new names. Let's go. Sharif's right kneecap. I need answers. I need answers. What happened to my kneecap? It's because I put my leg on the desk one time. That's it. I mean, you're going to start, you know, making weird names. I like you. Who else? Come on, Ed Miller. Who else? If you're new, throw your name in there. Shout out to Chris. Let's go. Let's go. May Reyes, Vaughn Clark, Jim Bob. We got J1 Nice, Marius Colossus, Brown Lighting. We got Heiserton. Who else, man? Rowboat, Sippo Sunshine. I might have done that one before. I don't remember. Sonny Littletree, Travis Martin. Come on, let's go. Ryan O'Day. Where are the new names at? M Pink. We got Monty. We got the Silly No-No Show, Mr. Toranga Sama. We got Durango Julian. Oh, I like that one. Ryan Wade. Shout out to Ryan Wade. Feels like a new name. Po Wa Chan. Shout out to Be Smart. West Y'all. He's obviously an OG. We got Garrett Steven. Green Day Dean. Love the band. Vaughn Allen. The Stock Impaler. I remember that one. Who can forget that one? Shout out, there we go. 1790 of some currency. To Papacito. All right, shout out to Papacito. I like your name.
That's your shekel.
And Joseph also pretends to learn your language as well, so all good there. No, I'm just playing.
Whoa!
Nah, maybe I shouldn't do that to you today, because today might not be the day to get Joey hands. Thanks, Rob. Content. That was a fantastic response, Rob. All right, guys, we're doing it freaking live. We got a bunch of positions. We're going to go to your boy Joey Options. Hold on, Joseph, save the content,
I'm not taking it out.
Save the content. All right, guys, let's just get this done with.
Get it over with.
All right.
Yeah.
So you guys saw the social media video that Ram posted yesterday where we talked on Friday about the 4.
Hold on. Have they seen it, though, Sharif?
Show them, Joey. Show them the video. Because we need answers. Your boy Joey Options is insistent that 4-inch shorts are okay. So much so that when I messaged him about it yesterday, he was already at the park wearing said 4-inch shorts. Thankfully, I didn't receive a picture. But, you know, we all know what that entails there, Joey. Show him the video.
This is the video. This is probably the
I love how Borat was in the 4-inch shorts there.
Crazy. Ramin did
fantastic stuff, man.
It's insane. My guy Borat there as well, too. But these are the 4-inch guys. Come on, that's not that bad, is it? These are the old 4-inch. That's not horrible. You know what I mean?
So Joey, we got a lot of room right here, right? Like the point is behind the big boys over here. Like behind us, we got the pole. So we can't do really a runway show. But I think that the audience should be able to decide what is acceptable and what isn't.
Yeah.
So Joseph, we're gonna do it live.
I think those are acceptable.
We're gonna wear 4, 5, and 6-inch shorts. And we gotta let the audience decide what is acceptable and what isn't.
6 too long for
We're not gonna mention the tights.
6 too long for me.
We gotta go to Adair.
Yeah, I mean, I was not prepared for the fashion show. Keep an eye here on this market because we do have Donald Trump waiting to meet here with the president of the Philippines, Ferdinand Marcos Jr. I have this stream up right now. They're just kind of waiting for them to get outside the White House and meet up. The more important thing to note here will be the bilateral meeting, which occurs after the fact. It's set on the schedule to happen around 11:15 a.m., but we know sometimes Donald Trump is a bit late, so we're going to have to wait and see what happens there. Either way, I will provide coverage on this event for you. We also, again, as mentioned earlier, have Michelle Bowman set to speak with Sam Altman. If I get any details on that, I'll let you know as well. Back to you.
Yeah, I found your pictures as well too.
I'll openly tell everybody about it. The thing is though, Joey, when I wear said tights, I make sure to wear a long shirt. You can't be showing too much. If you're gonna go skimpy on the bottom, you gotta go conservative on the top. You're gonna go skimpy on the top, you gotta conservative at the bottom.
That's certified unk right there.
That isn't unk, bro. That's just Quadzilla.
If you go
I got videos. I don't even want to brag, but
that's unk, man.
That's unk. Get out of here with that unk,
bro. If you just go with the tight, if you just go tights, no long shirt.
Well, you got to be able to do it.
Yeah, you got to be able to do it.
You got to be able to do it.
Doing it.
All right, let's do this,
Enough of that.
baby.
Yeah, let's get into these markets, man. I got chopped up in Tesla here today. There's no one kidding around. Let's get right to it. I mean, boom, we go.
I'm sorry, guys. We're starting off the show live. We're doing it freaking live.
You got to lighten the mood up a little bit.
Sir.
So boom. We take a lot of shares here. Get stopped out. Don't flip it short. Try it short one more time. Get stopped out. So absolute massacre on my behalf with Tesla here today. Maybe we can get this move into the volume weighted average price. That's what I'm looking for right now. Other than that, I haven't got too much going on. I bought some MU, just full disclosure on swings. Bought some MU yesterday, bought some more in the evening. Then just got rinsed on it this morning, so got stopped out of that one. So then what did I do? I impulsively bought some VIX calls.
Of course he is.
Yeah. So
of course he is. Shout out to Big Spot.
I impulsively bought some VIX calls, so let's see if that works out. And then I also dabbled into a bunch of ETHA, because we'll definitely get into that, because the primary beneficiary of this Genius Act and the Clarity Act is going to be Ethereum, because most of these stable coins are based off of that blockchain. And my guy Tom Lee says 10 to 20,000 potentially in Ethereum can potentially trade at that. And it has vastly outperformed Bitcoin in the past 10 years. Debate me. I have the infographic to show you guys. I need Diggy Do shorts that hang lower than, what am I reading now for?
I don't know, bro. I don't know, man.
Oh my God. Anyways, yeah. All right. Anyways, we're on to the next.
We're doing it live.
We're doing it live. We got a lot to talk about, lots of things to cover today. Yeah, exactly. Hamster, 100%. I'm out of MU, told that thing to go do something else without me being involved into it, and then I decided to buy some VIX calls on the dump. Those aren't working out too well, and then I also bought some Ethereum as well, too. So let's see what we got going on. I mean, they could be bad plays. I think the Ethereum will be working, but the VIX is probably something that is not going to be too well for me. Only a couple contracts. We'll double that up if things start to really cook for us, and the market wants to continue to sell. So that's the game plan. Lost like $400 on the MU. Small potatoes, but now we're going to be looking to make some money on VIX and Ethereum.
All right, guys, I see QVCGA going buck wild. We're going to cover it in 1 second. I'm just going to QVCGA. That's the ticker. This thing's on the rampage right now. I'm in a couple of positions. I'll mention those in a minute because some of them are good, some of them not so good. We'll talk about it. But QVCGA, that is QVC Group, formerly Quartate Retail, live social shop. So it's exactly what we thought. It's that shopping channel. Big breakout. Don't really care what the news is as per normal. Bull flag number 1. We are forming bull flag number 2 right now. 549, excuse me. That's wrong now. It's 560. This thing is on the war path to the high side. Be on the lookout. I don't even know what the short float is. I haven't had an opportunity to load up all the data, but we're going to have to pull this up on a trading screen right now. QVCGA. On the NQ. All right, so let's keep an eye out on this one. I'm going to have to switch to the 5-second chart on my top screen. There we go. So now we can kind of trade this one and see exactly where the micro pullbacks are coming in. All right, back into the 10 EMA on the 5. Let's have a look over here. This is the kind of the higher low right now. I see definitely a buyer at 510, 5 to 510. Also, there should be a buyer at 530. Let's see if that buyer at 530 steps up here. There was a previous area of support at 530, and I got in right just like that. It popped up 20 pennies. There we go. Where are we in? We're in at 37s. Into 44 it goes. Let's set up at 49. $0.50. There it goes again. QVCGA to the warpath on the high side right now. Be on the lookout for the reversal. That $0.50 tends to be a local area of support and resistance, and I'll flatten out there for the remaining amount. Good trade. Looking to get back in at 5, between 485 and 5. Let's see if this one pulls back into that lower area high. That's what I'm looking for there. Let's see if we can actually get back in here super quick, because we did make a higher low, but we are still putting in lower highs. 575 high. Every incremental crest has been a little bit lower. So I'm looking for a break above 560, 555 to 560. That's where the seller on the last area crest was. Let's see, do we hold up at that 5 1/4, 5 1/3? The answer right now inconclusive, but I would be a buyer in between 4 mid-80s and 5, 4 mid-80s, the volume weighted average price, 5 obviously being that psychological area of support. This one's coming down in a hurry. Watch out for this one. Here's that 5-ish area. So what we can do is I can get in here. I'm going to get in here and DCA into the volume weighted average price. Okay, here we go. We're at VWAP now. This has to be the trade. Missed it. Dang it, man. I have to freaking chase these. I need hotkeys on these. All right, let's try to give this one an entry again, man. Again, it doesn't let me in. So frustrating. We need hotkeys with this. All right, anyway, let's keep an eye out on this. It did find a lot of support at VWAP. It could have had a nice 20-penny winner there super quick, but we're still putting in lower highs. So the scalp, a little dangerous. Now we can show the screen, because what I'm looking at is the 5-second chart. I don't think they really want to see what I'm looking at, but yeah, so what I'm seeing is lower highs. Let me show you exactly what my view is on this. We're still putting in lower highs there on the 5-second chart. What I need to see is kind of a bit of a trend change. So show me some higher highs. Now we're using 510 as an area resistance, at least locally, a bit of a compression pattern. We have higher lows, but we also have lower highs. So that area for the moment, not really stepping in as an area of support, Joey. So keeping my eye on this one, looking for a break above 510. That is where the selling is coming in. So I won't keep talking too much about this one. What do you got?
Just saying up to Carney. What about the Clove options, Carney? There, brother. I don't know any relations to Mark. But yeah, no, this is what we got going on. Let me know what you want to know about Clove options, and then we'll do it, or do you just want me to look at them? But if there's anything specific, just put it in the chat. Make sure you tag me so I can see it.
My money,
but there we go. My positions board isn't updating right now. I can make another transaction here shortly, but let's see where we can go. I want to see if we can break through the volume weighted average price. All right, I'll do something. Just take a little off, just so that might update it. And no, it still has not, but that is okay. So we'll figure that one out here momentarily to see what we got going on with that. But here we are. Boom, boom, boom. Short, we double it up. There was another ad opportunity right there, but I was just not focusing on that. Boom, boom, boom. And then let's see if we can continue and break through the volume weighted average price and then hit that primary target of around $12. That'll put us to right around 324 right there on TSLA. Just looking for the continuation and weakness here. You can see those opening drives throughout the market were extremely, extremely weak. So it may just take some time in order for us to continue in that direction if we decide to. Why was I short Tesla? Okay, we have some pre-market highs right around this realm. And then sure enough, we go up, we wick higher, and then we print this inverted hammer candle. Now looking for the break of VWAP into 324 there, Sharif.
All right, guys. So I'm going to let QVCGA do its thing. It's at VWAP right now. It hasn't really given it up that much. It's below VWAP. But the downtrend to me is unabated. Okay, and I'm looking at the 5, and you guys made me chuckle there in the chat and be like, tell people the truth. You're looking at the 10-second chart. I swear I'm looking at the 5. It don't make no difference. So this is what I'm seeing on the 5. It's uninterrupted to the lower lows, lower highs. So let this one kind of get a grip, and then we'll get involved with this one. I don't need to be first, but I realize it's at VWAP, which is an important area. Let me talk about my other trades. CHGG, this one holding the 10 quite well. It's about a couple of pennies off the highs. I've racked in my entry here at 65. It's showing me 66. Let's see if we can get the print on CHGG. We're doing real well on Faraday futures. You know, not the biggest move. Took a 15-penny winner. It's coming back into my entry. Faraday, we got 77s. Best print I have there is 90 on Faraday. Almost exhausted the shares on Faraday, but look at CLDX. Beautiful hold of the 10 exponential. We have shares on here on CLDX, so let's go and wet the beak here with a little bit more to de-risk. So this one looking real good. We got 72s. Best print I have so far on this bad boy. 82, so not big win. Next area I'm posted 85, 86, and then 88. Let's see if this one can continue putting in those higher highs and higher lows. Back to CHGG. See, finally, we get a print on CHGG, and now it's showing me 67s. Alas, I'm waiting at 67, but it's not crossing to the other side. So we definitely needed to cross to the other side. I really wanted to sing there for a second, but I'm like, no, I can't do it right now. You know, we're in the heater mode at the moment. Let's wet the beak here on Faraday at 85s. Let's see if we get the print there. Now I've taken all I want out of Faraday, so let's go ahead and wait a little bit nearer that 3. So we're gonna wait at 94s and then 99s. Faraday Future, if you don't know what this company does, you don't really need to when you're trading technicals and momentum breakouts, but they happen to trade electric vehicles with a gnarly looking car. Maybe we'll show you what it looks like when we slow down a little bit over here. So yeah, these are the positions. I've got 3 positions on, all doing quite well. Let's see if they continue up because we're punching in near the highs, guys. So risky by definition. Let's go back quickly here to QVCGA. This is why you don't fall in love. Joey, look at this. This is why you don't fall in love with these ones. This is what Obi would call, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but I'm pretty sure you agree with me. Oh, have a look at the screen. QVCGA, this is as mean reversion as it gets. Super quick. You make a breakout there from 325 into 575, and now you're down into 4 1/4, Ob. You just lost $1.50 in 1 5-minute candle on a $5 name. That's big move there. So be on the lookout, guys. This one is on the warpath to the downside. CHGG, give me another print there. Now we're waiting at 68, Joey. There's about a few thousand lots posted at 68. Let's see if we can take them out.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. Yeah, I got a different thing, and I got a lot going on here, Sharif. Jeez, holy days. All right, I'm okay here.
Everything good? I can take over, brother.
No. I just got to... I don't know what's going on. Anyways, all right, yeah, so we're still short here. Let's see what we got going on. We did take a little bit off. The position boards isn't updating just yet, so we'll figure out what's going on with that one. Still short here. I did take some more off this and put through a transaction, so we'll keep an eye out on this one. Did it dip a toe? Yeah, no. Well, we didn't break VWAP, so that was a nice VWAP bounce right there in Tesla. So let's see if these we continuously form these lower highs. I think that's going to be positive for us. So as long as we don't construct something new, then we'll hold this for the break of the volume weighted average price. Market's slowly starting to curl around here as well too. So just keep that in mind. Much appreciated for that.
Bang.
And yeah, we'll see what we got going on. So you can see the market really cooling off here. The volatility did pick up. That's why I decided to grab some VIX calls. And boom. Sure enough, now we're starting to curl back over towards that low of the day. And we'll see what we got going on from there. But Tesla, pretty strong, actually, to be honest with you. A nice bounce off of the bottom, and then just continues to climb higher. So there, we decided to go short off of this inverted hammer candle, get a little bit off. That's nothing there of what we're experiencing at the lows. And then now if it squeezes, breaks through that, then I'll just hop out of this trade break even. That's all I got going on right now. Ethereum's looking half decent, wants to crack through some of these pre-market highs. Let's see if this consolidation phase is going to be enough in order for us to do so. All right, so we'll keep that in mind. That's what we have. QBTS looking like it wants to break down as well. When I was running my scans, I had nothing really other than, I guess, Tesla that looked half decent. But other than that, there was nothing outstanding on the scanning that I ran this morning. I said, hey, Joe, take me. Even though we are starting to run into earnings seasons, nothing crazy going on. It wasn't necessarily a star-studded lineup. That's for tomorrow. We'll leave Google and Tesla after the market, and we'll be looking forward to that one here. But Tesla starting to rebound. As long as we don't crack that high of the day, I'm going to continue to sit in this position. So that's all that I got going on right now. Clove, we'll take a look at Clove's options chain. I know someone was asking about this one here. So we'll see what we got going on. If there's anything outstanding, I know this one doesn't have too much. Yeah, there's nothing crazy from an open interest standpoint other than that $3.50 strike price. You got 15,000 current open contracts. Other than that, it's all about a couple hundred, a couple thousand, nothing substantial whatsoever. So that's what you got going on. You cooking anything up over there?
Yeah, we're doing okay. Right, I was just talking. I was talking to ADL in the chat, man.
Okay.
Give me a good. Do you have more to say?
No, go ahead.
No, I was talking. He was telling me basically that candle on QVCGA was quite telling because it was so extreme in its movement away from VWAP, and I happen to echo that sentiment quite Yeah, I happen to echo that sentiment. All right, so here's what I'm looking at, guys. I just got into Wolf. This one is breaking out at the highs, but I'm not going to really put too much into this one because the volume's a little sus on this one. We'll see how this one does, though. CHGG doing well, coming back into 66s, though. I'm looking for this one to hold the 10 EMA on the 5, but we might have to end at Faraday a little early over here because it's coming back into my entry at the 10 EMA. It's going to have to hold the 10 EMA. I'm really annoyed by this candle here. For whatever reason, there was an area of illiquidity. I tried to get multiple outs at 90, then 89, then 88. It wasn't letting me in, and now it's coming back down to the 10 EMA. Alas, is still bull flagging. Look, if I'm going to flatten out here, I'll get back in at VWAP. Let's go ahead and set up an order at 65s. I'll front run it 67s just so that it gets to be a crowded trade. That's volume weighted average price, so I'll look to get bottom wick on that. Good trade though. We'll see if it continues going. CHGG still putting in higher lows, so that one is all right. And then this one over here, CLDX, taking a bunch of prints, but that 85 seller remains a stubborn seller, and that is the high of the day currently on CLDX. Where are we in on CLDX? We're in at 72s. So now we're showing 84s, 85s, not bad. Let's see if this one's got the juice to let the buyers loose upon that 85 seller where, yeah, he's been holding us down. He's been keeping us down. We'll see if we can kind of move him out of the way there. CHGG still putting in higher lows, and then Wolf. Okay, Wolf is stair-stepping up. Full disclosure, very light position here on Wolf. I liked Wolf because it took 385 out. There was clearly a seller at 385, once, twice, OB, he is the one thrice, and then we took it out here on the 4th time, and now we're showing 92s. Let's go ahead and set up at 93s, and then we'll also set up at 96s. So that's what I'm looking at right now, guys. Those are the 3 that I'm involved with. We're involved in QVCGA. QVCGA seems to be finding some buyers here. It's below VWAP, so it breaches my rules for a long position, but it seems to be respecting the 10 EMA on the 5. It does not seem to be a VWAP respecting stock at the moment. It's got a double bottom. Both the opening and the closing prints on the 5 are above the 10 EMA. And here we go again. Now we're coming into VWAP from the south side. So I said it wasn't an important indicator for QVCGA in terms of support. However, does it act as resistance now that we're coming to it from the south as opposed to the north side? So I'm watching this one. This one's got a lot of volatility, a lot of volume, and we've already seen it's got the propensity to rocket up dollars in seconds. So it does present a good possible opportunity for some money. All right, let's go back to Wolf. We just took our first print on Wolf, showing me 95s. Now I'm waiting for 96s, knowing full well we are very close to that dollar area, meaning that we could encounter some resistance, psychological resistance. That is showing me 96. I'm waiting at 96. We're going to have to clear. There it is, Joey. We take out 96. Now I'm posting at 98, and now we're going to post a little above 4. So that'll be, oh, no, we don't want to do that. We'll post a little bit above that level. We'll see what we get, and we won't get upset. Quickly now, back to QVCGA. Just want to see if this one's continuing to hold the 10 EMA on the 5. The answer to that, at least for the moment, is yes. So we're going to pack our patience there to see if it gets back above. Maybe we can get involved there. Oh, bad word. Didn't get the ad, sadly, on Faraday Futures at VWAP. It breaches the 10 EMA on a wick basis, and now it's working back up. I'm going to leave this order active, okay? I perceive a bull flag here being formed on Faraday on the 5. So I'm going to leave this order active, but if it does break out of the range and start making higher highs, I'll punch in there as well. So we'll see what we get with this one, Joey. Keeping my eye on all of them.
All right, cool. Yeah, so we added a little bit more up here to see if we can get this move back towards the volume-weighted average price. If this does work out, then I'm going to just double it up here and see if we can get that move. It does look pretty strong, to be honest with you. So, yeah, that's the thing. This is some bullish type price action. We're right back towards these pre-market highs. Let's see if this candle comes into play. If we do come back into this level, I'll just have to take a loss on it and then just wait for something else to arise. Ethereum working pretty good for us, so I'm going to be talking a lot about this name here now recently because I bought some. Yeah, exactly. We like Ethereum for the long term here. You know, my guy Tom Lee's buying it hand over fist, and then we have the Ethereum machine as well too. Was listening to an individual last night just talking about Ethereum Ethereum and how it's outperformed Bitcoin.
Yeah, we told you that.
And how there's just many benefits to just owning it because of the ability to stake. It generates yield. You can obviously stake your Ethereum, and that's going to just generate more security for that blockchain, and you have the ability to just consistently produce profits off it. So Ethereum's looking pretty good. I like this one. So shout out to what was his name? Oh, I know it. What's the Ethereum kid's name?
Oh, the Russian guy?
Yeah.
I forget his name. I know who you're talking about.
It's on
skinny,
the
skinny,
Vitalik or something. Vitaly. Yeah. Shout out to him. He went to Western or something.
Did he actually?
Yeah. He went to Waterloo or Laurier or something.
Yeah, probably Waterloo.
Like
all the
something
nerds
along
there.
those lines. So shout out to him.
Neil went there.
Yeah. And here we are. Yeah, we're just getting squeezed out of Tesla. So that's what we got going on. Nothing else really cooking up. Maybe some QBTS shorts here on the day, considering if it wants to break through this low. I'd like this slow curl over. So what we want to do is try to catch the top end of this range and then look for that move towards the low of the day and even south of that. So QBTS looking poised for a nice short. Failed breakout yesterday, Sharif. So you can see that we punched through some key resistance zones, liquidity grab, boom, and then now flushing towards the middle of this range and even the lower end of it. So keep an eye out on that. Maybe some continuation to the downside.
Attaboy, Joey. All right, guys. Yes, Vitalik Buterin says soul status. Appreciate you. Oh, yeah, Carney, Neil's definitely not a nerd, but the truth of the matter is Waterloo is like a great engineering school.
Exactly.
A lot of the very smart people who do well in physics, calc, all that good stuff in their last year of high school, they end up going to Waterloo. So it's super high achieving. I'm not saying Neil's not. I'm just saying that's where all the engineering students go. My buddy did mechanical engineer, aerospace engineering there, man. He swears up and down by that place. All right, and great alumni, by the way, too. All right, guys, we're doing it freaking live on CLDX right now. It's up 40 and change. Where are we in? We're in at 72s. We just wet the beak there at the high of the day. That's 88. Shout out to CD Lamb. Hopefully he has a better season this year. We still got shares on this one. We're going to continue looking for more into $3, okay? Faraday Futures, I'm out of. It lost the 10 EMA, and now it's in a full-blown kind of sideways compression pattern. I'm game. I'm game with Faraday, but it's got to set up the right way. Continuing to watch CHGG. That seller at 68 is prohibitively large. We already see several thousand lots posted on the level 2. It's what we can't see, really, that's been preventing us from ascending. We just got a 5,000 share print there at the mid print, and we didn't even budge. So that seller at 68 continuing to keep us down. That is the high of the day on CHGG. I for whatever reason, feel like this one's heavily shorted. CHGG, find out. 5%, not that big. Okay, so only 5% short float there. But look at my friend Wolf Go. We're in at 90s. We're showing 98s now. I don't have a lot of shares in this one, so we can't take too many outs, but I'm looking for a $4 clearing here. And now I could have just been like, okay, well, I'll just take the print at 4. That's not the move. Let's see if we can get that squeeze above 4. We've been putting in basically 5 candles now uninterruptedly green. And there goes that seller on CHGG. Sorry, buddy. I told you to get it the way you didn't listen. That's your fault. We're going to take another print there on the CHGG one as this one clears that 170 level. That is now the high of the day. I tried to warn you. You don't listen. So we're going to continue to watch this one and see what else we can do on this one. Joey, Carney, had a kid at the racing school I was working at that went there for engineering. Super smart kid, but definitely a nerd. Yeah, I use nerd in in a very positive way. I don't mean it in a pejorative way, like it was traditionally used. When I say nerd, I mean you're smart. That's kind of what I'm trying to say there. I hope everybody kind of gets that and doesn't think I'm trying to bully anybody, because I'm really not, right? Shout out to Assassino. He's always, All right, we're going to wait at 70 here on my friend CHGG. How many shares do we have? And then we're going to wait at 73. And let's layer the orders, Joey. Let's wait over here. Let's see if we can get that 70 print first and foremost. So keeping my eye on all these guys. It is now a $4 high of day on. Woof. Here we go. There is that $4 area. I'm looking for a squeeze above this level. If the short sellers are sitting here Run for your life, short sellers. No, I'm kidding. I mean, there's a lot of wattage here posted at 4. It's probably going to have to chop and churn for a while until we can clear that level. All more patience, baby. Packing it. Let's go.
Let's go.
Joey.
Packing patience. Yeah, let's go. Get in it. Get in the zone.
Get it, Adira.
Get in the zone. Get in the zone. Get in the zone. All right. Yeah, I just got okay, we're gonna go to Adira.
Trump is standing outside the White House with the President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. of the Philippines. He was asked, what's your message to the people of the Philippines? And Trump said, I love them. So that's happened so far. They're going to go inside the White House, and I'm going to cover this meeting, but it's off to a fun start, I guess. Back to you.
Yes, Adira, I love the energy.
All right, you guys want to talk about fun start? Let's talk about fun start.
Tell him, Joey.
All right, so just currently right now, you guys know what I was going. Why
What
are you
happened?
laughing already?
I'm sorry, bro, because I felt you were setting up to be sarcastic. Like you, I was front running the trade.
No.
I was front running the trade.
Listen, I've been getting front running. I
don't mean to laugh, bro. I swear I don't mean to laugh.
Morning. Anyways, get a voicemail just now saying I owe $900 for my previous warranty. I just paid them $300. What do I owe you $900 for?
Why is it always $1,000? Why does everything have to be $1,000?
I submitted the claim. They said, okay, this is what we're going to fix. They send me it back. They say, this is what's covered. This is what you owe. I pay them the $300, and now they're trying to tell me I owe another $900. Not today. I'm not having it. Do you understand this? There's no chance.
Today's not the day.
Today is not
the day.
You know what I mean? So it's just like, you know what that's just what
Tell
it
him,
is,
Joey.
man. That's what it is, man.
Oh.
Scam. No, it's real deal stuff. So I emailed them right now, and I said, not today. I don't owe you a thing.
Ram, help him out, man.
We're going back. I ain't paying nothing. They said, oh, your voice.
I owed them $2K. I didn't pay it.
Yeah. Nice, Ram. Ram owes them $2K. She didn't pay it. We're not paying that. I already submitted my one claim. It said one claim per warranty. I put it in. I paid the $300. I'm not paying you the $900. That's simple as it gets, Jack. All right, that's a fact, Jack. Shout out to my guy,
man.
Mike P. DeRider. This is chaos.
Get it, Mike.
And I'm just getting absolutely rinsed here in Tesla once again.
True.
So it's just been an absolute chaotic day. Why am I trading this thing? We got to find something else. QBTS, IBIT, anything other than Tesla, because we got earnings tomorrow after the bell, and we're going to be most definitely looking forward to that one.
Look what Ayo Lewis said, man. He's like, who wore it better? We gotta show them. Why was it so 70s?
Yeah, I love that.
Ayo Lewis. I love it.
Ayo Lewis.
We're going to Adira.
Keep an eye on Rocket Lab. I'm seeing some commentary here in X. Apparently, they've been contacted for future Golden Dome launch contracts that would mean that they're joining SpaceX in competitive bidding. It's worth noting that Elon Musk himself has said that SpaceX isn't interested in the Golden Dome, but we're still hearing reports suggesting that they in fact are. I want to clarify, Rocket Lab, unclear from what I'm reading if this is a report or if this is confirmed, but either way, seeing that there is some Golden Dome interest here for RKLB. Also, keep an eye on some of these defense plays on earnings. LMT, I can't find anything on this, but this thing dropped like $10 in a matter of minutes. Again, not that crazy for his pretty ticker, but LMT, pretty volatile today. That is for sure. I'm going to keep looking into this as we send it back to you.
Thank you. All right, guys.
Yeah,
you
No, I just felt
all right. All right. We're gonna have to do this.
All right.
We're gonna have to do this.
Do it.
It's pretty. It's so pretty.
Look at Woody Harrelson, too. He's just like sitting on the side. He's like, shut up, get out of my way. Boom on CLDX, guys. This one, higher highs, higher lows. CLDX into 293. That is the best print I have on the day. I'm waiting at 95s. It's all gas, no brakes on CLDX. Umpteen amount of respect for the 10 EMA on the 5 on CLDX. It has not breached it since I want to say 10:20. We're going on over an hour, so you could have basically picked up anything off the 10 EMA and you were in the money quick as you frickin' like. So CLDX on that good stuff that they sell south of the border. CHGG, another new high day into 171s. We got 65s on this one. I'm setting up at 72. I'm setting up at 77. Let's see how this one does. Not too many shares on this one. More on CLDX, full disclosure. Woof. We did it live on Woof. I took the breakout there. I took it late. I should have been more alive to that 85 seller. I took it late at 90s. kind of sucks. And then we took a beak wetter there into 402, into the high of the day. Happy with this trade too. But there are others moving. KIRK just worked into a high a day into 188. Met with selling though. Beautiful hold off that 10 EMA. Holds it like a dang glove. So strong was Kirk, it didn't even weasel down into VWAP. It held the 10 EMA beautifully. So I see a possible bull flag continuation here. Look for that aggressive breakout above 188, likely a squeeze into 2. We'll see if we get it or not. KIRK had a high volume profile, declining, but increasing again. 3 bars now with higher highs on your volume profile there, bottom right of your screen. But we'll have to wait to see if that 88 seller can get shaken, because it's currently a triple top. The first touch, 1040. The second touch, 1045. A quadruple top if we reject it. And there is a new high a day into $1.90 on KIRK. This one's going, guys, and it's holding the levels quite well. Be on the lookout here for a squeeze in a 2, even north of 2, as this one zigs, zags. And then hopefully after that, it'll zoom, baby. So we're going to keep an eye out on all these ones. Also, lastly here, before we send it back to your boy Joey Options, I've been keeping an eye on this one, AMPY. I like the respect this one has for the 10 EMA on the 5. What I don't, oh wow, look at that move up. Look at that move up right when I'm talking about it. I like the move here, or the hold of the 10 EMA. What I don't like, the volume profile declining here, as well as the sparsely kind of traded nature of this one. It concerns me just a little bit. But there are 4 seller here. Feels like you're going to take out that 4 seller awfully soon. We'll have to see if that happens or not. But KIRK is on that good stuff right now. It's on the way into 194. Big moves here for KIRK. Let's flip back here to see what we're doing with our CLDX. We're working back into 95. That's where I'm waiting. Boom! Into the 95 sale. Into a new high a day, 96s. Watch out for the squeeze on CLDX. Adara, what are we doing with crypto today?
Let's take a look here at Bitcoin. This daily chart continues to be really, really gorgeous. Every time we make this kind of decisive low, we push up higher, make another low, push up higher. This is just, long story short, a beautiful uptrend. And what we're doing here right now in BTC is I've noticed we tend to do a lot on BTC when we're near these all-time highs. We make a little bit of a consolidation as we push higher. Now, the fact that we do have this topping tail candle with that most recent all-time high from last Monday is a bit unfortunate, but if we can get back above that 120, specifically I would say that 121,000, if we can get above that level, some clear prior resistance, then we might be able to push back above 123,000, sorry. So 121, then 123 does look like that path to the upside once again for Bitcoin. It actually looks pretty similar as well to what we were seeing when we were around that 113,000 level, waiting for the next level of resistance before we can make new all-time highs. I also want to mention a meme coin, as we do now during this segment, Lil Pepe. Ticker LILPEPE. Its name is Little Pepe. Little Pepe is apparently a meme coin project developed on the Ethereum compatible layer 2 blockchain, and they raised over $10 million in their total pre-sale contributions. Apparently more than 90% of tokens sold in stage 7 were sold at this fixed rate. So good luck here for Little Pepe on one of their sales here, raising over $10 million in pre-sale contributions. Congrats to Lil Pepe as we send it back to the guys.
To it?
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yep.
Show them the chart.
All right,
Joey.
guys, so let's pull this up here.
Chart.
Let's talk a little bit about what we've been experiencing over the past week regarding the Genius Act and the Clarity Act. Now, a lot of us have thought that Bitcoin has been the outperformer, but that's not true. In the past 10 years, Ethereum has vastly outperformed Bitcoin. And now the ability to not only hold Ethereum, but it can generate yield as well too by staking your Ethereum. Bitcoin, more of just a store of value, but you can see 715,000% return in the past year compared to Bitcoin's 43,000.
Joseph, we got to interrupt. Apple set to stave off daily fines. EU to accept. Adara has it. Okay, my bad. Go ahead.
Yeah, I have that news as well. I want to let you guys know this meeting with Trump and the president of the Philippines is now starting in the White House. I'm having some audio issues on that, so I'm going to check on that. But either way, AAPL, as Sharif mentioned, Reuters reporting that they're likely to gain EU antitrust approval for App Store fees and rules. So if we get more details, I'll let you know. But thank you very much, Sharif, for giving that story as well. I want to mention LMT. I talked about this one dropping. The extent of this drop is really key. We haven't been below 420 in Lockheed Martin in quite some time. We're actually right now heading to 415. So here's the story. As I mentioned earlier, I couldn't find one. Reuters reporting, citing the CFO of Lockheed Martin now. Apparently they owe an additional, I think, $4.5 billion here. I'm going to pull up that exact headline. Additional $4.6 billion of income tax. They are pursuing, though, some remedies through the IRS Independent Office of Appeals, and if necessary, they'll go to the judicial proceedings. Back to you.
Thank you for that, Adara.
Yeah.
Joey, so one of the things that I personally, the first thing I told you about ETH was I like the fact that it had smart contracts. And I'm looking at the data, and apparently the smart contract usage really increasing now, and they're making upgrades to it. So, and I like it for specific reasons. Say I got a piece of art, a piece of collectible, right? You don't know if it's real. I could have forged it. I could have made it up, whatever, right? Pardon me? It could be an NFT, says Rob, right?
Yeah.
Well, we won't go down that road, but yeah, sure, absolutely, that's accurate. And then I want to sell it to you. So number one, I can prove authenticity because it can show the chain of ownership.
Yeah, absolutely.
Person A owned it, sold it to person B, the person C. And so you can see the chain of ownership and know its authenticity. But also, you can prove ownership. So if I come to sell it, I can kind of know this guy's selling me stolen crap, or, you know, there's a whole bunch of practical applications. Think of all the ways we can disrupt housing. The land registry, the land titles, all that stuff is super archaic. All these different systems. I got to go into this registry, that database, whatever.
Absolutely.
And so I like it for that.
And that's the beauty of these smart contracts is the proof of authenticity. Like Sharif was just giving perfect examples. You can do it from anything from a household to a brick of gold, right? And you can put these on the blockchain. And also a lot of major retailers are using this as well too. Walmart is using smart contracts so you can go down their supply chain to find where something specifically came from. And we know from the Genius Act and the Clarity Act that we think that Circle is going to be one of the primary beneficiaries because of USDC. No, that's not true. It's going to be Ethereum because the majority of these stable coins are on the Ethereum blockchain and network. So.
There you go. And I look, I got to tell you the truth. I want to be very honest. I didn't think too much of ETH because it was not finite in its amount. There's an unlimited number, right? There's no maximum quantity like there is with Bitcoin. But that doesn't seem to be the end all and be all for the market. The market seems to care about the other things that it has to offer. You just brought up a very good point, which is the fact that the stable coins, most of these stable coins, Joey, are being made on Ether. And let's even bring another point to it. Why did Circle catch a downgrade today? Because I forget which rating agency it was, but they were saying they were going to have competition come the second half of this year with stablecoins because banks are going to start issuing their own stablecoins vis-a-vis the Genius Act.
Absolutely.
So all those could also be created on ETH. Now I see you guys in the chat. Some people are saying ADA is going to overtake ETH. I respect that. I don't pretend to know enough to know whether that's accurate or not. But it's nice to know that there are other alternatives that you can weasel into so you can distribute some money.
Absolutely. And I mean, that's the benefit of Ethereum right now, right? So we're looking at Bitcoin as a store of value, but there's multiple use cases for Ethereum. We just talked about smart contracts, and then the ability to also follow the supply chain of as where simple Apple came from in Walmart. You can go down from where it was produced and then how it actually got through there. And even in the likes of Microsoft with game making and Xbox, the game makers, because there's so many fractions of what's going on when producing a video game, it's hard to pay everyone out. But these smart contracts allow you to do so. If you produce the music, if you did some special feature in the game, you can make money off of the Ethereum block, or not make money, but you can see and follow that supply chain by using those smart contracts and pay everybody accordingly. And that's the beauty of what we're seeing and experiencing in Ethereum.
I love hearing it, man. I love hearing it. And shout out to that information, Joey. You know, it's something that I don't know too much about. So I do appreciate when you drop hot knowledge on that. Shout out to the hot fire. Speaking of more hot fire knowledge, Adair, what do you got for us now?
Thank you for that, Sharif. I just want to let you guys know Trump is still in this bilateral meeting. The audio is very notably bad, and I did check it is not me, it is the system, and every stream has the same audio issue, so you can't hear Trump very well. I'm relying on these comments coming through on X, but apparently Donald Trump said more about Powell. He said that he keeps rates too high, but it's okay. He's going to be out soon anyway in 8 months. So what that means, guys, is it sounds like he's not going to be firing Powell. It sounds like anyway, if he says he's going to be out in 8 months. He also said, yeah, the economy is strong and that these interest rates are causing problems. So yeah, interesting look here for the market. Again, I do apologize. I'm not going to be able to give as timely Trump data just due to this, the sound on this, but people are still posting comments on X. Back to you.
You are fake news.
Sorry, Adara. Okay, I just got to pause for a
That's a fighting
second.
word, Trump.
What happened, Adara? Wasn't he nice to you earlier? He said thank you, Adara.
Well, he did
I heard
say
him
thank
earlier.
you earlier, but
Yeah,
now he's called me fake. What do I do?
All right, we got to pause everything right now because I just saw somebody in the chat that I haven't seen in a very, very long time. Shout out to Dan, the freaking man Emmons. Welcome back, my man. We haven't seen you around these parts in a long time. Great to have you back with us, and good morning right back at you, my man. Futures trader extraordinaire. Keep your eye out on his levels. Shout out to Dan. He's back, baby. CDLX. Was it ever gone? This one making new highs of the day, 306. The best out I have there at 304. I've layered here into 308 and 314, looking for continuation, but this is coming in aggressively into the 10 EMA. Is this an adding opportunity for me? I'm going to take it. I'm going to add here. So there we go. We just added. So obviously it changes our cost basis. I want to say anything below the volume weighted average price, I'm out. So now we've got 81s on, having added at 86. Let's go ahead and set up at 90s. We'll see what we get on this little bump. So I like that move up from CLDX into that wow, we took the print on it already. Wowzers. Okay, there it is. So it does find some support at the 10 EMA. So I get that print. Happy with that one. Let's see if it continues back into 3. There was a seller of note at the 3-ish area. I'm setting up at 94s, showing me 92s. Let's see what we get with this one. Good continuity right now on CLDX, but looking for more, Joey. It's not just good enough to get the print. It's got to move back up. Adara, what is happening up there? Here we go again. Adara's losing it. Let's hear it.
So Donald Trump is talking about Powell. I'm very happy to announce the audio is back. Clearly they figured out what happened. The audio is good to go now on the stream. So he said the Fed basically, it has to be the easiest job in the world. All you do is say your little speech for about a day or half a day. That's why I call him too late. TOO. Too late, and I am quoting him here. We're going to have to see right now. All the questions, as far as I can tell, have been mostly related to Powell. Of course, that could be subject to change, and I will let you guys know of anything. I do find the Powell coverage, though, interesting because it does sometimes move the market when he makes these comments, as we know. Back to you.
He added there, right at the 10, a couple of scalps into 96s. Let's go ahead now, set up at 97s, and then I'm going to set up a little bit north of that level. So keeping my eye right now on CLDX, looking for continuation on this bad boy. I just added, Joseph. I'm so stupid. All right, I just added there by accident, so we'll just take it out. Neil always says, if you make a boo-boo, you make a fat finger, you just correct it super quick. So we're going to keep an eye on CLDX. I'm looking for a move above 3. I like that bottom wick into the 10 EMA, and then right back up we go. Let's see what this one has to offer us, guys. Still holding CHGG, which is really finding a lot of selling at 71. Super random, don't know why. We'll see if we can shake that seller, but keeping my eye on CLDX.
All right, good luck there, guys. All right, yeah, it's just, hold on, Sharif. We haven't hit this one in a while.
Okay. Oh boy.
I'm gonna hit it one more time.
I'm sorry, bro.
No, there's nothing to be nothing to apologize about, man. It's just how the game works. It was an absolute. Hold on, one more time here. Absolute rinse fest here on Tesla. Aggressive. Dump looking for the continuation. Says, nah, we want to rip higher. We get a little short. We take nothing off here, add a little bit more, and then just get absolutely rinsed on Tesla as it's continuing to climb higher. I was long. I had a long bias on this looking for the continuation, but it does this liquidity grab. Insane stuff. But we don't want to get too frustrated with it. I'm not going to let Tesla get to me and Elon and company. It is what it is. You know what I mean, guys? So I'm not going to complain I am down about 2/3 of my shutdown, so we got to keep risk measures obviously in mind, and we don't want to go gung-ho kind of like I did this morning, getting out of MU, buying VIX calls, and then buying Ethereum. It's just that impulsive matter, but some of them are all right plays. There's a little bit of method behind the madness, but here on Tesla, after those 3 longs, I should not have been looking at this name whatsoever. So that's it. Yeah, no, it's not ouch. Like it is what it is. If you guys have been day trading for any form of time, not every day is going to be your good day. It's that simplistic, right? I will not hear any other argument otherwise, because that is the nature of day trading. Some days you're going to be.
What happened?
Nothing. I'm not even going to repeat what this one is. It's just boom. That's it.
Boom.
Have a good day.
Sorry, bro.
Yeah, exactly. So
Sorry,
there you
bro.
go. See you later. Have a good one, Andy. I wish you all the best, my friend.
I don't.
Yeah, exactly. I was being sarcastic there. But yeah, have a good one. Enjoy your day. And anytime I see your name in the chat, it will be blocked on my behalf. So there it is. Don't say that stuff in the chat. Thank you very much. This is us being frank and honest with you about what we got going on from a trade standpoint. Like it or not, it's the reality of trading. And today, not off to the great start, but we have plenty of time left within the session. With that being said, my focus is now off of Teslas. Clearly not in sync with the stock, and that's fine. We move on to something that's working for us, right? We want to find another opportunity. If you're not in sync with something, move on. I should have stopped. I mentioned this before after these 3 long attempts, and I'm glad that I got out when I did. That's why it's so important to stick to your stops. When you get aggressive like this, you have to. Right? And imagine I held this amount of size all the way down there. That would not be good whatsoever, all right? So let's just keep that in mind. Stick to those stops. You keep things at the lower end of the range, and sure enough, it's going to save you in the long run, all right? So just keep that in mind. Stuck to that, stuck to a stop here, stuck to the stops across the board. And what does that allow me to do?
What?
I'm still in the game. I'm still very much alive. There's so much day left in the trading session. It'd be in your best interest to not count me out. All right? Thank you.
Yeah, and I always tell you this, and I know you don't want to hear this, but I'm going to tell you anyway.
Yeah, tell me.
I've seen this story all before.
I want to hear it. Yeah,
I've seen this story before.
See, that's what gets me amped up now. I'm ready to go. I'm going to be patient. I'm going to wait for that.
Do you want to be docile while trading? I don't think people.
Absolutely no,
absolutely not. Right?
The thing is, though, I wouldn't do that to you. Being like, yeah, you suck, man. You know what I mean?
I already went after people last week. I don't want to go after them again.
You don't have to
I got a sick little line that I want to use, but I'm not going to use it.
Don't use it.
I'll use it for when he comes after me.
Yeah, we'll keep that to ourselves. But at the end of the day, I wouldn't do anything along those lines to you guys. What I would do is say, hey, let's sit down, let's brainstorm, and see what we can correct. And that is the beauty of trading, is because there's always an opportunity to get better. So don't listen to anybody who's doubting you or talking smack, all right?
The doubters.
Yeah, exactly.
Sucking. All right, guys. Keeping my eye on this one, CHGG. So this one's coming back into the 10. It had a seller at 71 that we couldn't shake. It's at the 10 right now. I've got 65s on. So this one's been respectful of the 10 since we basically opened up. So I'm going to add here, okay? I'm going to add here, and if I end up losing on this one or losing a little bit on the rest, fine. But this one, CHGG, has shown me basically, since we started trading this morning, that the buying has been coming in at the 10. Now, that doesn't have to happen every single time. It's not going to happen forever and ever more, but that's not what trading is about. It's about putting the odds on your side. So we're in at 67, having added at the highs there. What I'm going to be looking for is a continuation above 71. We already know that the seller at 71 we couldn't shake, because that is the high of the day. So let's see if it holds up at the 10. Anything below this area right here, I'm talking about 62s, where the buyers clearly showed you they were stepping in at 62. If we lose 62, that's the end of the trade for me. So we're going to keep an eye out on CHGG. I'm looking for a hold at the 10 on the 5. We're still holding shares here on CLDX. Where is that one at? There we go. So I added into this one, like I added into CHGG, and I'm looking for a continuation above 3. But guess what? Not any part of this goes against my entry here into 85s. Now, I'm not holding that many shares, right? Because we exhausted a lot of the shares on the way up. Let's go ahead, though, and wet the beak. We're going to wet the beak right here, and then we're going to save a piece for the freaking dream. There we go. We take a beak wetter at 3. So the ad, we get a 15 penny win on the ad there. Let's go back to CHGG. What's a look at this one's jib? So that we got shares on this one. So let's go ahead and post up at 69s, and then we'll post up at Yeah. We'll post up here as well. All right, so yeah, that's fine. We'll see what we can get on that one. Now, Faraday futures. We had a good trade on this one to start Assassino, but this one did drop below my entry. I traded this one wrong. Full disclosure, okay? I should have been more alive to the buyer at 70 rather than being preoccupied with where I entered. I executed poorly on Faraday. We're positive on it, but I didn't execute in the way that I see best. Now, there's still a seller at 3s that we haven't been able to shake. That's the bad news. The good news is, much like a lot of these small cap gappers today, Faraday futures also holding the 10 EMA on the 5 very, very well and has been doing that essentially the entire morning, okay? So be on the lookout right now for Faraday, and there it goes. It's on the move to 3. The high of the day is 306. We just made another 5-minute candle to make a new high, so it's 4 candles in a row with higher highs and higher lows. Faraday is at 3, 299 showing up now 3. So now the selling gets aggressive. Why? People profit take at the whole dollar, but so do the shorts. The shorts step in at around that area of psychological resistance, which I'll submit to you that $3 level certainly is. So I'm going to keep my eye on this one. Oh, wow. Look how quickly CLDX came back after that beak wetter there. So we only have 1 out left on this one. So let's see if we can hold up at 80. If we can't hold up on 80, I'll give back a little bit here. I don't mind. Let's see. Actually, why would I do that? Why don't I just punch back in at 80? Yeah, that's exactly it. We'll flatten out here, and then if I want to get back in at 80, I can get back in. Yeah, so that's it, Joey. We're continuing to keep an eye here on CHGG. That's the only one we got left. And I'm going to keep my eye, obviously, on Faraday, as that one's been doing quite well. Let's see.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Yeah, thanks for all the love in the chat, man. That's why we have the best community around.
No
all
question.
You guys are real. Yeah, that's how you guys all know you're real. And I know the individuals who's been here for quite some time. It's just the nature of trading, so there's no point in being negative. This is a hard enough gig. The fact is that we need to all come together and just continuously level up. That's the objective of this game, not put each other down. We don't got time for that around these neck of the woods. All right, guys, TQs. Potential, see, that's the thing. Do I short this market? It's so tough. But one thing that I want to do here, Sharif, is just follow this major volume. Let's head back into our VPA lessons here and just talk about the correlation between volume and price. Now, look at the strength and the genuity within these bearish prints here. Yeah, bang. Oh, hit that one there.
Okay, hold on.
Oh, yeah, bang.
That's what you're going to get for that one.
Bang, 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 bang. That's exactly what we want to see. So we can see that the strength is displayed to the downside. And then as we start to recover, they're not as strong and they're not as bullish as what the bearish candles were previously. Now, I understand that earlier it was the opening drive, but what I want to do is eventually follow that volume, because if it's stepped in already, I think there's going to be another opportunity for it to step in. And as I'm talking about it, you can see that the Qs are heading towards the lower of the range. Do I want to sell the low of the range? No, I want to get the top end of that, all right? So what I'm going to do is wait for another potential pullback. It is chopping around, so if we can get the middle or the top end of the range, then that's going to vastly improve our risk to reward ratio, all right? Shorted, but that's fair, Captain Bananas. And you're going to be for a long time, right? You got to understand that trading isn't a gig that you learn in a couple of months, 6 months, even a year. You're consistently learning, and there's always data to collect. This is a journey. It's more along an expedition, in my opinion, because there's going to be a lot of trials and tribulations. It's a lot of just continuously rinse and repeat. Okay, what did I do here? Didn't work out. What do? I write it down. I try to figure out how to get slightly better. What did I notice when I go back and I look at my charting that was wrong? And then how can I improve from that? So glad that you're a rookie, but just welcome, strap yourself in, because it's going to be a long and turbulent ride. There's no questioning that, but you're in the right place. We're going to try to guide you the best we can, and we will most definitely tell you the trades that we put on. You guys seen me lose like $1,500 on the show, right? I got squeezed, but then I also tell you guys when I make a little bit of money and when I lose some. It's just how it is, and that's the nature of it. And our objective here is to make our winners slightly bigger than our losers. And that's the big time name of this game. And let's continue to rock and roll. Whoever mentioned SBED is absolutely zooming right now. This thing's buzzing.
What?
Yeah. This thing's buzzing off of these lows here. So SBET now trading up to 29.50. Let's see if we can continue here. A beautiful rebound that we're experiencing in the market, and this is exactly what we want to see. Sharif and I were talking a little bit earlier. It's like, slightly toppy. July is like when things slowly start to curl over.
Yeah,
and I agree. Like, let's pull up the Qs, right?
Let's do that.
And so what I was referring to is, okay, this is a big time move off of the April lows, right? We're up 39% with no intensive pullback here in the overall market. Am I saying there's going to be one? No, not necessarily. And something that I was mentioning early started to come into play. Look what Google has been doing and look what Amazon's been doing. What happened when the Qs constructed all-time highs, NVDA constructed all-time highs, Microsoft did as well too. The Google and Amazon were lagging, but now they're starting to play catch up. And what is that doing? It's starting to add more fuel to this Nasdaq fire. And that's exactly what we want to see, a catch up. It's kind of like, hey, we got these guys rolling, working out good, drags the market high. They start to cool off. Now the laggers that are strong fundamentally are starting to catch up as well too, which can also help lead to drag the Nasdaq higher. So Amazon and Google looking really good. Before we send it over, we'll pull up Amazon.
I want to mention something too. Yeah.
And there it is, Sharif. Amazon, we're only about 5% off of those all-time highs, 6.5 to be exact. So there it is. They're playing catch up, and that's going to add more fuel to this fire, guys.
All right, guys, before we go to Darren happening now, and Neil's going to drop his lesson of the day, I want to show you what we're talking about when we say these mid-summer pullbacks. It's been consistent the last couple of years. They happen at different times, last few years. Let's start with the latest here over here in 2024. There is July. This is middle of July, July 15th. This is the SPX, okay? This is the weekly chart on the SPX, not the SPY. This is the index. So we got to almost 5,700, and then this was July last year. Then look where we dropped down to 5,100. So that was the midsummer pullback. That is July 2024. Let's go back. Let's go to July 2023. What did we do there? Oh, that's right. We were at 4,500 by the end of July 2023. And then where do we go? We dropped to 4,100 before we made new highs. Let's go back to 2022 as well, because that was also it was a bad year, obviously, 2022, but this happened as well. It happened a little bit later. It happened at Jackson Hole in 2022. Look at this. This is mid-August, not July. So we get to mid-August high, 4,300. And oh, look, where do we drop off to? 3,500. Expect a midsummer pullback. It happens at different times. It's happened 3 years in a row, if not more. I'm expecting it, Adara.
Before we get into the market, I want to take a moment to thank our friends at Top One Futures. Are you looking to trade futures like the Nasdaq, SPY, or Bitcoin? Top One Futures is one of the fastest growing prop firms out there, and they give traders the chance to manage up to $1 million in capital. What do you have to do? Just pick your path, instant funded, challenge, or pro account, and start trading your way to real payouts and even a live account. In the last 90 days alone, they have paid out over $10 million and earned more than 1,000 5-star reviews from real traders. Use the discount code TTV to save on any account. Scan the QR code or head to top1futures.com. That's top1futures.com and start trading towards your next payout. Here's the future. Speaking of the futures, two topping tail candles back to back here on the 15-minute chart for the Nasdaq. Let's take a look at the S&P 500. Both of these bouncing off of lows, but looking kind of weak at these levels. We're really struggling to get past any other level of resistance here, past that VWAP level specifically for the Qs. We're above it, but continuing that push to the upside might prove to be a bit difficult. Here's AAPL. Apple, as reported by Reuters, likely to actually gain EU antitrust approval for their App Store fees and rules. The stock is chopping, not super reactive to this. Wall Street Journal also separately reporting that allies of Elon Musk and XAI are apparently looking to raise up to $12 billion for XAI chip. The company's burning through cash, so they want more NVIDIA chips. Keep an eye on TSLA and NVDA. One more ticker I want to mention, kind of an odd mover today, LMT. The stock had earnings, dropped on earnings, but then Lockheed Martin dropped even further around 11:30 when Reuters reported that the company's CFO is saying that the IRS now says they owe additionally $4.6 billion in income tax. They are apparently pursuing remedies through the IRS offices. They're even considering judicial proceedings. But either way, pretty weak here in LMT, potentially trying to bounce a little bit here. But we're going to bounce over to Neil and his lesson of the day. So without further ado, take it away, Neil.
Yeah, pay your taxes. 4.6 billion, Lockheed. Thank you very much, Adara. The lesson of the day here is there's nothing for a trader. I can tell you with certainty that the one thing that probably scares most traders is like the true rug pull, right? It's being long in something, usually long in something, I guess, squeeze and rug pull are two different things. It's kind of a similar phenomenon. But you're long in something trending, and then the rug pulls underneath, and either you bought at the top and you get destroyed, or you give too much of your gains away. And I could tell you, well, make sure you put a trailing stop in and that kind of thing. But sometimes it's about identifying the type of strength that you're dealing with and having a plan of action around it. Because if you were to look at the two biggest movers the last couple of days, Open yesterday and then KSS in the pre-market today, there's something very distinctly different about them that I hope is pretty obvious to see. Now, Open, here's the two factors. I'm showing you a 15-minute chart to give you the perspective of how long Open was trending up. There were pullbacks on a 15-minute. There were topping tail candles and pullbacks off that where shorts could have won for a little bit, consolidations and breaks back out. And it didn't lose the trend until late in the day when it fell apart here at about $4.50. Here's the thing. When this happens, it's the kind of situation where having a trail is an easy thing to do because it's giving you that trend up. You can go with prior bar levels. You can wait for a trend break to go. It's giving you on big money a trend. It's done more than 1 billion shares throughout the entirety of the day. So at all points, there's tons of liquidity. It's got a thick book. It's the type of situation where, yeah, it can do this to you, but until it actually breaks through a prior high, it doesn't show you it wants to accelerate. There's all kinds of opportunities. If you have a trail out, you're not going to get rinsed to the bottom if you have yourself a trail. But one of the key aspects of why this was a little bit safer and more orderly is there was big money all day long after the open. With KSS, you would have heard nothing but caution, 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 as almost all of that move up occurred in the pre-market. Like it's 9 o'clock, and the 15-minute distinctly different on KSS. And I think I got the most fortunate out that any trader's ever going to have. You're flat out not going to have a better stop than the one I had on KSS today. This was nothing but pre-market squeeze, and then obviously as the open came in, it made a top. Now it can go either way. I'm perfectly willing to tell you that if it had done one last squeeze after the open, I would have been in it with 3 cents worth of risk, which is fair. That was the case of action, but that's not what we're talking about. When you have all of the acceleration occurring in the pre-market, the way that it did into the open, the risk of an actual rug pull without order at 9:30 is heightened. Why? Well, open was doing 1.8 billion shares throughout the day in a stair step up with liquidity at all levels during the open market. KSS needed to see what would happen at 9:30 when the market opened up, and what happens at 9:30. Liquidity goes away from the book so that they can establish the opening print on a New York stock. So in this case, you've got a stock which is gone in parabolic, and then suddenly everything, the spread is going to open up, your risk parameters are going to open, your ability to get slipped is going to get hurt if you're not using an auction order. All kinds of chaos ensues at the high. So yeah, if you're really quick, you can get very fortunate, but it is not going to be the same level of control being able to get out of a trade with a trailing stop once it started to go. Now with open, it went from 5 to 450 and broke trend. You had plenty of time to get out when it broke the trend. Once this didn't halt, by the time the trend breaks, your slippage is probably another 10% on KSS. And that's the difference between a stock which is trending throughout the day with big volume and lots of liquidity and one that just goes ham in the pre-market. Everything about that made it riskier to not be taking profit near those highs. And fair enough, sometimes you're going to get out way too early. That's fine. But once it broke that halt and the open it was selling, there was no stopping it until it was into a halt down. We talk about this all the time, and it might not matter as much a year from now when we go to 24-hour trading. Actually, I kind of think it definitely won't matter as much. But there is a vast difference between buyers that are holding a runner-up during the open market when all of your algos and all of your big boys are willing to trade it, and then in the pre-market. You have got to be very careful about getting the rug pulled when all of that buying action occurred before the market was even open. I'm always going to, here's a good example would be NEO. Like NEO's buying in this uptrend that it's in has been coming in every single day at the open. At the open, it's buying up. At the open, it's buying up. At the open, it's buying up. It's buying up right now into $5 that I'm short at 99. This is distinctly different. If it pulls back, you're going to have plenty of liquidity to get out. No questions asked, because it's got that going for it. If it was doing these moves and always doing it in the pre-market, you'd have to have a different exit plan in terms of what your expected slippage was going to be. So know the difference between liquidity pre-market and post-market. Certainly, you could have gotten rugged with KSS, and it's distinctly different from what you saw in open when that thing turned. Not only could you have gotten out, you could have gotten short on that open yesterday. KSS, I don't know. I mean, where you would have gotten short on KSS at the top is beyond me. If you had to stop when it didn't go into that halt, that's one thing. But outside of that, maybe you could have got something in the 19 to 19.5 range. It's already pulled back 10%. But when it lost that level, it was gone. On a 15-minute chart, we're talking about a $6 candle on a stock that was $10 yesterday. Moves are built different in the pre-market. Risk, therefore, is built different in the pre-market. And you have to understand the difference between the two and whether it's different, it's a wider stop, or in some cases, you might want to have less shares in the pre-market, whatever works. Take profit out before it opens up because 9:30 could be a problem. You have to make some kind of adjustment. Otherwise, this could happen to you. And good luck to anyone that caught the bottom on Coles. It looks like it's coming back in. We always love a good squeeze because momentum is fantastic, but we also prefer when the volume is with us. And when it's not, you can see what happens on that rug pull. Good luck, everybody.
I mean, that was one of the better ones there. I know Neil drops hot fire every day, but I really do like the details of that one, especially since it was stocks that I like. Shout out to Neil. Thank you very much, Neil, as always, for the knowledge, Neilage, as we call it around these parts, and his lesson of the day. All right, guys, a couple of things to update you on before we send it back to your boy Joey Options. CHGG, you'll recall, we added into this one at 68. There's a buyer here at 68, and you can kind of gauge that given that it rejected earlier, had trouble clearing it, and then lo and behold, comes back to it, holds 68 on a closing candle basis on the 5, and then moves right back up. So I scalped a little bit there, but it's not all sunshine and rainbows. I did add into CLDX, and now we are out of the money on this one. Anything below that 68 penny area, we're gonzino. I'm looking for volume weighted average price to hold up here on CLDX. We make a big move into 3, we lose the 10, we lose the 20, and now we're at VWAP. This thing loses 70 pennies. We're out on this one, and we'll give back some. Full disclosure, still up 35%, looking for that higher lows and a nice bump up there, but the buyers are not stepping in. In fact, the candles have all been red since 11:45, so we're going half an hour deep now. Both the volume candles and the price action candles being red, but there seems to be a buyer at 70, and that's not out of nowhere. Yeah, sure, it's the volume weighted average price, but what I was gauging was there were area rejections into that 270 area on our way up into the high of day at 306, which kind of showed that maybe 70 might act as an area of resistance if it was cleared. Here's what I'm talking about. Look at that initial bull flag at around 945, the top end of which goes into about 69. So you know that 70 penny area ends up being important. Then we get back to it again. 1, 2, and then on the third time, we finally clear it. So then we get all the way up to 306, as I mentioned, come back down, and it generally seems like we're holding that 70 penny area. It also happens to be the volume weighted average price, which doesn't hurt me. So I'm keeping my eye on this one. I'm very much alert to the fact that there is no buying, at least for the moment, or there's been no buying, what I should say, for the last half an hour or so. The first area I'm setting up at 79s. There it is, 78s. Now let's see if we can get a nice bump up and scalp a little bit after the ad here on CHGG. CDLX. Sorry, guys. I kept saying CLDX, and you guys were coming at me hard in the chat, and I still didn't stop. So I apologize there. I'm a creature of habit, and I'm like very, very routine in my methodology. So once I start saying something, man, oh boy. So CDLX. I hope I didn't annoy too many people in the chat. I know Anuview wanted me to stop saying that. And there we get the first print there at 80. So now let's see if we're going to start using, as I've been mentioning lately, the 10 EMA on the 5. Are we going to start using that now that we've lost it as a level of resistance, Adara? So I'm going to pack my patience on this one. Show them what you got.
So we did have Donald Trump just ended that talk, the bilateral talks with President Marcos of the Philippines. That's over. Again, the next thing that we're waiting to watch out for involves the Fed. Fed's Michelle Bowman apparently set to speak with Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI. When I see any links to that or updates on that stream, I will certainly let you guys know and follow that. For now, though, market, it's been a little bit of a lower high. Nothing huge to report. That was the only event I was seeing today for President Donald Trump on the calendar intraday. Back to you.
All right, yeah, let's go, guys. I'm thinking of shorting the Qs here.
Okay.
Even though they haven't been working out too well for us, Tesla's starting to come in off those highs, and you can see the mag, it's pretty weak across the board here. Let's pull this up and see what we got going on. There's a couple of the names here. Oops, and there it is. So here's a couple of the names. Ooh, I don't know why it's doing that. That's frustrating. Anyways, so what I'm getting at here, guys, is that we have Microsoft that's relatively weak, Google and Amazon. So I think we'll be in the okay. But if they want to start to rebound, then we'll have to kind of just adjust our situation and see what we got going on. We aren't at the top end of the range. I want to see what Apple's up to as well. And it's been an absolute choppy mess. This is not good price action to be sitting in here, Sharif. That'll chew a lot of people up. As you can see, we're just trading within this range. So unless you're just selling the tops, buying the lows, then until it breaks out or you see that volume drastically start to pick up here, then other than that, I would just completely avoid this name at all costs. Unless you have a strategy that revolves around you trading these consolidation phases, you're selling the tops, you're buying the lows, and you're just continuously churning shares through that process. But with that being said, anything can happen at this point because there's the ability of a party, either the Bulls or the Bears can step in and pick a specific direction for this name. And I mean, the longer we consolidate, the chances are that the move in whatever direction we decide to go is going to be relatively strong and large. But again, we don't know until that volume does step in. There is a key resistance zone right at that 216 level. So keep that in mind. If we do pop through that, then hey, we're going to continue to climb higher, I believe. It has been lagging. It's the weakest out of all the mag here, still down 18% off of those all-time highs when we have the likes of NVDA, previous all-time high, Microsoft all-time high. Now Google and Amazon are starting to play catch-up, while Apple is just sitting here in limbo being like, did we get AI right? Did we not get it right? How much longer is it going to take? Et cetera, et cetera. So just keep that in mind. I do believe they will get it right. It's just a matter of when. And it's unfortunate that they are this late to the dance. But I mean, I think it was like phones were out for 15 years. Like the mobile phone was out for 15 years before Apple even released the iPhone 3. So, I mean, they're not going to take that amount of time to release Apple Intelligence, but they've never been first to the dance. But when they get it right, they have the ability to dominate the space. And hopefully that's going to be the case when they do release that full-fledged Apple Intelligence thing.
All right, man. I want to shout out Charlie Taff, Sharif, Joseph, fellas. Just sharing my win from the AM grab 4 triple Qs 562 0 DTE puts on open today for 56 apiece. Got out of all 4 at an average of 304 equals $992 in profits in the bag. Shout out to you, Charlie, man. Couldn't be more happy for you. I hope you print up multiple storms in every trade that you take. Obviously, you know, not really a realistic thing.
How much he reckon?
Well, it's right there. 992.
Oh,
he
let's go,
took
bang.
992 home quick as you like, Joey. I mean, who could complain about that? Nope. All right, guys, there's a new small cap gapper in town right now. We're long at 18s. Just took a couple of prints there. It goes by the ticker Z. Here we go. Z-O-O-Z, Zoos. I'm just going to call it Zoos here, guys, because you guys give me a hard time because I'm Canadian and we say Z. So we're looking, this one has multiple ranges per candle. Every time it makes a new high, it retraces. I see support at the 20 exponential moving average. We'll get to that in a second when we get back from Joey.
Perfect. Savvy Canadian traders looking to boost their exposure can now tap into the Nasdaq 100 and S&P 500 with Beta Pro 3X daily leverage ETFs featuring built-in FX hedging. This aims to amplify short-term market moves, minimizing the impact of currency swings. Whether you're feeling bullish or bearish, these ETFs are built for active day traders ready to take on the market. Read the full disclosure in their prospectus at betapro.ca before investing. Adair, what do you got for us?
PNC, this is, we sometimes talk about how these stories are older, but they move the market a little bit later. They get circulated around X, etc. Financial Times here, I guess, reporting about the fact that this company is going to be offering crypto trading as it expands beyond its regional roots. That was reported by Financial Times earlier today. The company also announced a partnership with Coinbase to offer secure crypto services to clients and provide banking support to exchanges. So couple different crypto-related catalysts for PNC. One of these, this Financial Times report might be more recent, but we already had this catalyst earlier with Coinbase. Nice volume spike in today's highs for our this ticker here, PNC. Back to you.
Love it.
Oh man, it was a TikTok video. Adara, wait till I send you this TikTok video. You're gonna love it. All right, we're doing it freaking live right now on my friend Zoos. We're taking prints. Here we go. Now we're waiting at 33s. It's showing me 929s. This one can move quickly in a hurry, but if it can do it to the upside, you know dang well it can do it to the downside. So please exercise proper risk management. I perceive this one to be very wicky, meaning that once it makes a new area high, it seems to always retrace aggressively off that high. So be on the lookout for that. I've got a tight stop on my entry, but we've taken out a nice part of the position so far. Now, I want to mention this one as well. CLDX, I'm very happy that I added into this one. So we added at 75, just with the beak there at 88s. I'm looking for this one to stair step up. My next beak wetter profit taker, that is for the newer viewers. We're sitting at 94.
Wow, big time dumping Google here.
Go.
Yeah, something's going on with Google. Volume really starting to kick in here, guys. Something might be happening. There has to be a catalyst. Volume just going through the absolute roof right now. So there it is. Google trading from 190, putting its volatility move down to 189.22. Maybe not just yet, Sharif, but there's a massive volume spike right here. It is the third largest volume candle of the day, and this 5-minute candle isn't even over quite yet. Approximately when maybe another 5 minutes or so, or 4 approximately. So there it is, big time. Wow, a lot of volume is stepping in on Google here, guys. There must be something going on. Hopefully it's positive, and there it goes. It's starting to break through some key levels. If it decides to rip, then watch out. It's going to most definitely drag the Qs up along with it. So keep an eye out on what Google is. It's putting in an insane amount of volume right now. It's engulfed all of them. Something's going on, and we'll figure it out. But in the meantime, we have a $50 super chat. Repo Dennis. One time you gave the chat an opportunity to share screenshots of profits for the day. Can I send mine in on KS? How do I do it? Absolutely.
Show them the account.
No, I was going to tell him. What account?
X.
That's exactly what I was getting to there. We'll pull that up right now. Tag your boy at TraderTV Joseph.
There's my guy.
There it is. If you want to, you can DM me, and I will look at it, and I will gladly show everybody the great work that you've put in. So it's right here. Add me at TraderTV Joseph.
Get it, Joey.
Right there. Send me a DM. We're going to put it in there. I'm going to display it to the chat. Repo Dennis, thank you very much for that $50 super chat.
Does he know the Repo Man?
Well, I was hoping that he wasn't coming after my car.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because, I'm ancient, right? I'm 100. Sorry, Adara. Repo Man was a wrestler. Yeah.
Oh, I thought, so he was just taking everything. But yeah, I thought the Repo Man was actually coming for me. So now they're trying to say, hey, man, we're going to put a lien on your car. For what? Get out of here. Are we going to Adara?
Yeah.
All right, there we are.
List for Google, and it's a bit of a weird one. CNBC reporting that apparently Microsoft has hired, they said nearly 24, so I guess roughly 24 AI experts from Google DeepMind for its AI team. We know Meta's been poaching AI staff. Now it looks like Microsoft's doing the same. I'm going to look up how big the staff is in Google's DeepMind to assess how big these nearly 24 people are and how much it's going to impact. But either way, Google, as you can tell, the stock not really sure how to react to this catalyst. We're going to have to wait and find out what happens there, but I will be looking up more details on the total staffing of DeepMind to understand the impact of this story. I guess that's what Microsoft and Meta are doing right now. Back to you.
Well done, Adara. Way to go with it, Adara. Fantastic. Shout out to the repo, man. Yeah, you know, he was an interesting WWF character, man. And this was back in the day when everybody had to be like a superhero or like super villain type character. You couldn't just be yourself and schlep out there as Joseph Wilson or Sharif Gobriel or Adara LePage. No, man. You had to be some weird. There was a guy called the, what the hell was he? He was called the Red Rooster. And he literally came out of the ring going,
yeah, that's crazy. There's some definitely interesting
McMahon
characters.
made them do this. He's insane. Shout out to what's it called?
Interesting characters.
The repo man. Yeah, I know. This is part of being 100, Joey. You get to remember all this stuff, right?
Yeah, that's it.
All right, let's cover some of these, Joey, right now, because I'm still doing the thing here, 22 or 25 with ZOOZ, looking for a break and continuation. We're getting 3 candles in a row with higher lows. I'm waiting for 33s. They're eluding me at the moment, but we've taken out the majority of the position now in the CDLX. Let's see how this one does. And also, I want to mention, Faraday is on the warpath to the high side, okay? It's taken out 3. It's got a 319 high. The volume is coming in. We're doing about 5 million shares, give or take, per 5-minute candle. It's up over 53%, and it's respected the hell out of the 10 exponential moving average on the 5. We're now 2 pennies away from that high day. Keep your eye out on Faraday futures. Are we going back to Adara? No. Sorry,
all right,
excuse me.
guys. Yeah. With Trade the Pool swing trading programs, you can get access up to $40,000 in buying power to trade real shares, not CFDs. You can hold positions overnight, over the weekend, and enjoy limited risk. Thanks to a one-time evaluation fee, no monthly payment, no hidden costs. Take Vincent J, for example, one of the Trade the Pool swing traders. He's already locked in $23,082. His top performer, NMAX. He shorted it from April 20th to May 30th and pulled in $6,700 gain. Trade the Pool is giving swing traders the tools, the time, and the capital to thrive. Scan the QR code and enjoy 10% off. And we're going to head off to Adara, guys.
Yeah, I just want to let you guys know, I mentioned that nearly 24 number for Microsoft hiring these Google DeepMind employees seemed a little bit odd. I looked it up. So again, nearly 24, that means probably roughly around 24 employees were taken from Microsoft from Google DeepMind to Microsoft. I looked it up. As of 2024, Google DeepMind had roughly 2,600 employees. That means that this poaching impacts less than 1% of their total staff. So again, not a huge number. The stock probably just confused by the catalyst, but I did want to do my due diligence and research that. Again, less than 1% of Google's total DeepMind has been reportedly poached by Microsoft. Back to you.
We're doing it freaking live on Zoos right now. Shout out to Nimrod. I'm going to get to your chat, but this is breaking out. And when I told you guys this breaks out, it has a tendency to mean revert and mean revert quickly in a mean way. Come on. So now I'm waiting at 46s, looking for that 50 penny rejection. And we already know that 50 pennies has been a hard level to crack. Sure, we've wicked above it, but there has been no closing prints on ZOOZ above that 50 penny area. So I'm very alive to that fact, and I'm looking at wetting the beak just ahead of 50, and then I'm gonna leave a piece for the dream. I mean, what kind of trader would I be if I didn't have any dreams? So I'm going to keep my eye on this level. We're having trouble right now with the selling in the mid-40s. I'm sorry, the position board just went out. Not sure what's going on. Let me see if I can take a beak wetter on this cheg over here. Well, no, I don't want to. I don't actually want to. Let me get in on Faraday super quick, and then I'll get out. There we go. We'll just flatten out there. That should update. Yes, there we go. Good. So now it's updated again. So back to Zoos over here, still zigging and zagging. Oh, B word. It went up to 45s, didn't cross, and I didn't get the fill at 46. So I'm packing my patience on this one. So Nimrod, 15 shekels, my man from Israel, dropping the cash. Zoos means move in Hebrew and Palestinian Arabic, and the stock understood the assignment. Shout out to you, my man. But I don't, maybe in Palestinian Arabic, certainly not in Egyptian Arabic though, because move in Egyptian Arabic is, it's just not that. I don't even want to say it because it sounds stupid, but it's like itarak or hasib, or it's definitely not Zeus. I'm trying to think, have I ever heard that before? I don't think so. So yeah, now that I've done that, Joey, anything you've got on your...
We're cooking up here in the TQs there, my friend. It's starting to work out really, really nice for us. Let's go. Cook machine, cook machine, cook machine. This is what we want to do. Let's see if we can head towards the low of the day. And I just talked about following the volume. We were patient enough to do so and just wait for it to come into where we wanted to. And then now we're starting to see it pick up rapidly to the downside. I think at this point we might have the ability to head towards the low of the day and even breach it, especially if the volume by time profile continues to accelerate and you're seeing us as we slowly start to stair step higher and higher on that time frame. I think a lot of this might have to do with Google. Sorry, I got a lot going on. We'll take a look at what we see on Google, and there it is, moving. Pardon me?
I can take over.
Yeah, no, that's all right. I'm good now. And then you can see here, we're starting to move lower and lower, but this volume spike was massive. And then now we have a big time engulfing print on the TQs. So hopefully this one's going to work out really, really nice for us. I would like to add on to this position at any form of pullback. We'll double it up, and we're going to go for that home run swing right there, guys, all the way down to the low of the day and possibly even 85 and south of that here on the TQ. So again, patience is key. We sold the lower end of the range at the right time. Google Catalyst steps in. Amazon taking an additional leg lower. So is Microsoft. So these mag names relatively weak. I haven't even looked at NVDA today, Sharif.
Okay.
So I'm going to take a gander at that one to see what it's been up to. Heading back towards the volume weighted average price. We're short the Qs. The Mag 7 are weak. We're short the Qs. That's going to help us a lot within this trade. So we're going to continue to ride this wave until otherwise. But Amazon, big time move to the south side here. As you can see, it's now established a new low of the day. 85 would be the dream here on TQQQ, Sharif.
All right, guys, take it easy there in the chat.
What happened?
We're having a good time.
Yeah,
let's keep it light. Let's keep it light. Speaking of keeping it light, Big Spile. I'm gonna have to, read this little by little because he's an absolute liability. All this poaching, he's basically talking about what Adira was talking about, the poaching of employees with AI, with Zuck throwing around money, this, that, and the other. All this poaching of employees from other companies makes me think none of these companies have near the AI technology they claim. Apple could still be the big winner by just not spending the money on it and just partnering with the winner to use it on their devices. Big Spile, you're touching on...
That's actually a great point. Sorry to interrupt. I just think that's a really, really solid
Chime
point.
in any time you want. You obviously... the idea, though, is when everybody keeps saying who's going to win the AI race, who's going to win super intelligence, who's going to win artificial general intelligence, I always scratch my head. Did somebody win the internet?
Right?
I don't understand. What the hell are you guys talking about? There can be concurrent people with the same product for different uses. Absolutely. The internet is a platform off which everybody's working and everybody's making money, whether you're selling automobiles, you're selling fake stuff from where. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So what the hell are we talking about? Nobody's going to win AI.
And you know what? At the end of the day, Sharif, all these LLMs can be so good that they're essentially equal, right? And you have different search engines. You got Microsoft Edge, you got Google. It's going to be like choose your player at the end of the day. I think there's a long road to hoe. And I mean, everybody can benefit this. There may not be one singular individual that's going to win or one company, but it can be just a collective group. Some people like to use Google. Well, okay, some people like to use Gemini. Some people like to use ChatGPT. I like to use Bing and Microsoft Edge. Why are you laughing at Microsoft
Because
Edge?
of Neil. I know what he's going to say. I can't. I got to stop.
Bring it in, Neil. We're waiting.
Factually incorrect, gentlemen.
Sorry.
As a matter of fact, there was a winner to the internet.
Neil. Sorry.
And his name was Tron because he was the world's richest man with a hot hand at a dice game. Clackety, clackety, clack. Y'all know about Tron. He won the internet. Lots of people won the internet.
I knew
all of them were in
with
Dave
that.
Chappelle skits.
What are you going to do with the funds?
I'm just saying.
What are you going to do with the funds, Neil?
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna chill with my homies and I'm gonna serve the community in psych.
There it is.
In all seriousness, I tend to agree with you. Like this is the kind of place where not only one person's gonna win. It's like quantum computing. Like there's going to be multiple winners in quantum computing as well. That said, there is a significant, like if you're the first mover advantage does matter in a lot of cases, and I think this is why you can beat up Apple and a little bit there. But at the end of the day, I've had this conversation with my dad a million times. I use whatever AI is the most convenient to me in each moment. I have no allegiance to any of them. It's all about convenience, and I think that's what it's going to be for a lot of people. So there's going to be multiple winners in the space for sure. But there's absolutely no question about it. Tron is an absolute legend. I'm going to go have a banana cognac right about now. Peace.
Whoa. Having cognac?
All right. So I just want to say one thing. I know we're going to Adara, but like somebody in the chat, no name. So he was saying basically, look, there were a bunch of internet companies in '95. Now there's really only a few. I'm not really sure what you mean by that, no name. In any event, though, if you're talking about ISPs and that kind of thing, internet service providers, that's not really what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the infrastructure that everybody's basing their business on. How many businesses can you think of that are, and not just businesses in terms of individual businesses, but business segments, sectors, etc., that are actually built on the internet? So I don't think AI, as we're currently using it in LLMs, I don't think that that's where AI ends up being. I think AI just ends up being everywhere in everything, and every product is ensconced in it. That's what I personally see. So when people say winning artificial general intelligence or winning artificial super intelligence, sure, you may be first to AGI. You may be first to artificial super intelligence, but that doesn't mean that you're gonna have a perpetual monopoly on it forever and ever more, and nobody's gonna be able to catch up or take it and use it to create or perfect another product. That's where I just don't understand what these people are talking about when they say they're gonna win this, they're gonna win that. I don't think anybody wins. I think it's an infrastructure off which people will build businesses. That's my thinking about AI, and I don't understand this thing that there's some sort of finite race that we all have to get to. Anyway, are we going to Adara? Yeah, go ahead.
Speaking of AI, Sharif, Sam Altman right now speaking with Michelle Bowman at this conference held by the Fed. The name is a bit of a mouthful. It's called the Integrated Review of the Capital Framework for Large Banks Conference. Fed Chair Powell spoke there earlier today. Now we have Sam Altman speaking about AI. If there's any kind of questions or anything said of note, I'll let you know. I will be listening to it. But right now, he's just talking about how he did a task really quickly using AI last night. Back to you.
Yeah.
It's here.
You're going to move?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
No, mock. Sorry, mock. Yeah.
On the Qs?
Yeah.
That's it.
Just to see, let's see if we can diamond hit in this. If I don't get stopped out, break even. A mock is, guys, a market on close. So that'll essentially, what I was referring to is if I can mock this and just hold this position throughout the whole day. I just have this feeling that maybe we might continue lower. Microsoft is pretty weak here today, guys, and I think it has the ability to drag the market down alongside with it. So mock is a market on close. So essentially, I'll just get that 4 o'clock print slightly after if I do decide to mock it. But essentially, I'm not going to do that. I'm just saying I'm looking to hold this position for quite some time to potentially head in towards that low of the day. You can see I've also added here on the curl over. This could be a big time mistake, or it's going to work out really well, right? And I think that's the nature of trading. So we're going to be patient on this one, and hopefully it starts to really cook up, and we can head in towards this low of the day. And I will take another add-on to it as well, guys. I was only 33% right there, but there it is. Heading lower is Microsoft and bringing the Qs down along with it. So we're short at the break of the support levels. Come back, pull back. We're now forming this 3-bar play. Add some more right here, and then now we're going to look for that move in towards 85.50. But I mean, it can be an all-day trender to the downside if some of these big names want to participate on that front. Google is starting to climb higher. I think it will have to be a group effort in order for this thesis to work out. And with Google climbing higher, it's going to be tough. But as long as Microsoft, Amazon, and Tesla pull back in, and NVDA head south of the volume-weighted average price, I think we have a good opportunity to do so. Yes, Adara did just crack her energy drink. So yeah, let's go. By the way, did you go to uni at Buffalo School? No, Sid, Gary, I didn't go to school in America. I went to school here in Guelph, Ontario, and in Etobicoke, Ontario. So yeah. And then I went to high school in Bradford, Ontario. Bradford. So shout out to
always
them.
On the way to cottage country, baby.
Yeah. Which I'll be going this weekend.
I know.
Yeah, bachelor party this weekend. That's why I was chilling 2 weeks ago. So yeah.
That's why you were chilling last week, right?
That's why I was chilling last week, man. I was chilling last week. I think or 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. Yeah. 2 weeks ago, just chilling.
Totally
Even
believable.
last week, yeah. So
Totally believable.
yeah, because I didn't because the alcohol consumption, I needed to kind of lay back on that to justify
Oh, I didn't tell you.
what happened.
I had a glass of wine on the week.
That's fair.
Yeah, uno glass of red wine.
6 ounce.
It wasn't at a
Or 4
restaurant.
ounce?
so
Oh,
it was
okay,
like,
okay, yeah. All
But
right,
I did. That's the first sip of alcohol I've had since New Year's. Literally New Year's Eve.
You said red wine. Yeah, nice.
Red wine.
Alright.
Sorry.
Stay close to
My man's still
me.
going. All right. Dara, if you're gonna sing, you're gonna have to come in. I'm sorry. There you go.
Well, let me be.
I think that's like a classic. I think you have to play that song like for
We'll get
the
dinged.
dance. Yeah.
We'll get
yeah.
dinged.
No, we can't play it on the show.
No,
obviously, but
we'll
like
get dinged.
At any
YouTube
form
doesn't
of
like
wedding,
anybody
yeah.
playing any sort of music whatsoever.
Yeah.
We showed. What happened there, Assassino? Remember we showed like a quick clip or something like that, and we got dinged that day. What was it of? I'm totally forgetting. All right.
Oh, when your breakdancing video.
Yes, my breakdancing video because it had that song in the background.
I don't even know
like,
what
give me a
song it
break,
was.
bro.
Yeah.
Shout out to Other Zinc. Him and I going back and forth. We're talking about, winning the internet. He's bringing up really good points. He's like, look, Intel, they did fantastic after, the internet boom, 95. We all remember Pentium inside. Intel's chips were #1. And more, I could not agree with you, Other Zinc. My only thing is there's just so many other businesses that are internet related that have nothing to do with chips, e-commerce, services. Think about how, super random. Remember 23andMe? I mean, most of the people that were buying their DNA kits were going online. Very few people probably called a 1-800 number and bought them that way. That's what I'm saying. The internet becomes a front for every business. And I think AI acts somewhat like that, where the business is a particular field, a particular sector, a particular moat. Integrated with it is AI, making the product or the service that much better. So when people say they want to win that particular space, I don't know what the hell they mean, because I think it's just going to be basically ensconced, integrated into everything. And that's what him and I going back and forth.
All right, I got to
Go
display
ahead,
this
man.
here, Sharif.
Yes, sir.
This is our boy Repo Dennis, who just gave us that $50 super chat.
All right, so I need to see that. So
Yeah.
that's $1,758,987,000. Don't forget, Joey, though, that 90 pennies there at the end.
Ooh, my days. Yo.
That's an
my
account
friend,
account.
My friend. Let's let's link up somewhere. Let's hang out. Let's do something. You know what I mean?
This guy, bro.
You need to get on that wavelength.
It doesn't
there.
take long, eh? Oh.
8 to 9.
8 to 9. What does that even mean? Figures.
Figs.
Oh,
you
yeah,
didn't know
yeah,
what figs meant? Come on.
Yeah,
And
Obi's
there it
got
is.
high
Our
standards,
guy
bro. He
Repo-
wants 8 or 9 figs.
There's a guy Repo right there. Repo Dennis. You got your two boys up there. You got your boy Sharif right up
Okay.
there. There's your boy Joey. And then there it is. He's locked in right there on on my favorite platform of all time, Robinhood.com, baby. Let's go. It's actually not my favorite. I don't even have it, but I like Robinhood, the stock, personally. So, yeah, a really good look there. What? I mean, 1.8 schmilly. There it is, brother.
Oh,
nice
boy.
Repo, Dennis. You definitely want to get in contact with this guy. I'm curious to how long you've been trading as well, too, because that is some beautiful,
good look,
beautiful
man.
stuff. Yeah, and let us know in the chat there, Repo Dennis. Fantastic work. He told me also 300K on the week. Man, my guy, holler at me. You have my X now, clearly. So, but no, in all seriousness, congratulations. And I'm curious, put it in the chat. How long have you been trading for? Oh, that's not you? Oh, Repo Dennis says that's not him. It's someone else. All right, so we got someone else. It's Life About Matthew. Life About Matthew. Sorry, I didn't even know if you have a different tag in the name. Repo Dennis. Sorry if we got you excited, considering that's not your cash. But Life Without Matthew. Life About Matthew. Nice work there, my friend.
All right, I'm working back into zoos over here. This one is continuing to put higher highs and higher lows. I had gotten stopped out break even on the last remaining amount right there, but it did hold trend. I should have been adding to that position rather than stopping out break even, but I'm gonna continue to keep an eye on this one. I think I'm gonna build into the position here. So let's see if we can get this little add. No, we're not, it's breaking out without me. Oh, goodness. true to form, right? All right, there we'll go. We'll punch in here. So we got the add at 34s. Let's see now what we get. So I'm gonna look to add into 20s, okay? It's been holding up higher highs and higher lows. So what I'm looking for is a hold of prior bar low. So let's see what we get here. Let's set up some beak wetters. I'm gonna set up it to the high side. There we go. Now we got the add, and now it's coming back down. So what do we have on? We got 33s on at the moment. Let's see what it does here. I like the trend, but it's awfully wicky. So if we got 33s, the stop goes on prior bar low. Prior bar low is 15s. Kind of zigging and zagging right now in the high 20s, low 30s. Let's see if it gets some continuity. No, it's coming right back down into that 20 EMA on the 5. Let's see if we can get the add here. So there we go. And now anything below prior bar low, we'll have to get out of this one. So what do we got on? We got 28s, Joey. So let's hold here. Let's see if it wants to pop back up and give us the print. So we're going to go ahead and wait at 30s for a print there. But anything below 15s will get me out of this trade because that will be prior bar low. So keeping my eye on ZOOZ. Separately on CDLX, got stopped out break even on the remaining amount. So we got the move back up after the add into about 88s, and then it came back down into my entry. So it didn't give this one any opportunity to turn against us. And now it does feel, though, very flat bottom breakish here on CDLX, where it is kind of putting in lower high, so area high, and another area high. All the while, it's been that 70 to 75 penny area that seems to be where buyers are stepping in. If that's the case, it's kind of a candidate for a flat bottom break. So I flattened out on it. Now, if it can get above 290, I'm a buyer again. There's certainly selling at 290. We know that. If it can get above there and clear out the buyers from there, I'm an interested trader for that. Now, let's go back to Zoos because we're showing 28s. We're break even now on it. I'm looking for a move into 30s and then about low 30s. And then into high 30s for the next beak wetter, and then we'll see what 45 has to offer us. So I'm trying to ride the trend here with ZOOZ with the higher lows, but it's not exactly exploding to the high side like it did basically at 10:20, 11:10, and again at 12 o'clock. It's not doing that. It's giving us pops, but not aggressive pops like we got over here. So that's what I'm looking at right now. Let's see what the market has to offer us. Sorry, a couple of super chats. One, oh, you already saw Big Spiles? Did you see that one?
I didn't see Big Spiles.
Let me read the.
Yeah, read it first.
Okay, you already read it, Ram? Yeah. Good job. Lil Joey, already kind of pejorative, but Lil Joey, will all the boys be sporting shorties at the bro show? Under 3.5 cans on Zins for the weekend.
Under 110 there on the old Zin.
It's just fantastic.
Under.
I love how you guys are betting on Zins.
Yeah.
That's why Philip Morris reported earnings today, and like they didn't do all that bad.
That's all right.
It must be because of all the Zin buyers.
All the Zin buyers. But no, this is our guy, Repo Dennis, right here, Sharif. Another one. I'm just getting these flooding in. A quick 6-figure move right there on Coles. That is absolutely monstrous. Coles calls. Beautiful stuff. So yeah, it looks like you bought them at $10.50, or maybe you sold them at $10.50 and had them positioned before. But there it is, some big time movement, $105,000 day on KSS squeeze. Wow. That is a big time short squeeze. So very good stuff to both Repo Dennis, to Repo Dennis and to Life About Matthew. Some fantastic stuff. And the Qs are just slowly cooking up here as well too, guys. I got a message. What's his name? Our good friend now, Life About Matthew, to see what he's got cooking up and how long he's been trading. And if you've been listening, you can just answer in the chat and we'll see. But here it is, guys. Q's working out pretty good for us. I think there was another reload opportunity. I do believe there is going to be more within this session. So one thing to note is that we're continuously forming. You take a leg lower, you breathe. Take an additional leg lower, and then this is where you want to add. So that was a pretty good add right there. Wasn't too aggressive. I mentioned that it was only about 30% or so. But as soon as we crack the support level, I believe 86, and maybe even a little bit south of that can be in the works, considering that NVDA is now back towards the volume-weighted average price. Tesla looks like it wants to head in that direction as well, too. And then we have Amazon just hovering around the lows, and Google kind of just stuck in limbo, but Microsoft, too. So just keeping an eye on the Mag 7. We'll keep an eye on the tape as well. well too is you can see that we're getting these continuous moves at the bid, so that can cause some selling pressure. We want to monitor these things consistently, just in case we do get any form of price action that turns things around, and then we have to get out and lock in some profits. So there it is, slow grind, volume cooling off as we have these pullbacks here, and then we want to see it step in. So you can see that we get that move lower, steps in, and then on this pullback, even though it's strong volume, you eventually slowly start to curl over, volume cools off once again, and then you get the selling pressure step right back in. So in order for us to take that additional leg lower, this is what we want to see, is that selling pressure really start to amp up, and you'll see that acceleration within the tape and on those volume bar prints, those signatures as well too. So keep that in mind. Stay calculated. We don't want to get too gung-ho here. We obviously want to have a method behind the madness. So we're going to be patient, and I am going to hold this position for the low of the day if we can get there. Otherwise, if it does squeeze through the volume-weighted average price, we will exit this trade.
All right, Chegg into the high of the day, guys. CHGG into that $1.72. I'm posted there for a print, but I just posted it, so I'm likely behind in priority. We'll keep an eye out on this one. But I want to let you guys know, SBET is putting in 1, 2, 3. Well, there was a bamboozling candle that just closed at 1240 on SBET. It does seem like it is kind of putting another leg higher here. That's the top right of your screen. Let me throw in the tickers so you guys can see it. SBET. It does feel like it might be headed higher here. It's $29.79 high a day, essentially $30. The closing prints at around $29.50. So be on the lookout for the $0.50 seller if we are to work our way up there. But we still have $29 to get through before we can even start talking about that high a day print. But SBET up a little bit less than 14% on the day and looking like a good higher low situation over here, with this area being the low 27 and a quarter, and then this area a little low over here at around 28. But this one is a bamboozler, so be on the lookout for it. It does feel like I might get stopped out, though, of my friend Zeus over here. I'm not even going to call it my friend, because now it is breaking down into the 20 exponential. It's not putting any higher highs. Let's see if the buyers step in here. I've tried to give this one some room, so we will give back money on this one if I do get stopped out. Obviously, I'm looking for a hold at the 20 exponential and a move back up. It's had trouble approaching these highs as of late, and anything below 12 pennies, I get stopped out, which I've given a little bit of room below the 20. I didn't want to give it right to the 20 exponential where I perceive it to be making or to be finding support. But let's see what this one does. Stop in place, come what may. Kirk D as well, continuing to put in some higher highs and higher lows over here. This one is just pulled into the 20 exponential moving average. The first time on the day that we've even touched the 20 since 9:55 this morning. It is finding, ironically, support at the 20, despite not really finding too many retracements into it. It's a $1.99 high, pulling back into about $1.89. It's up 32% and change. It's not the biggest rocket mover on the day, but one that we can keep an eye on nonetheless. CLDX, as I mentioned earlier, got stopped out of that as it came into my entry. It's feeling very flat bottom breakish here. CLDX still up 35%. Faraday futures off that $3 failed break. Let's call a spade. It got to 319, but it spent all but like 1 second there and then basically dropped right back down, and now it's trading in the 2 high 80s, 2 low 90s at the moment. We'll see if this one can catch another bid. It is technically putting in a higher low with the buyer at 270 initially, and now it looks like the buyer, Joey, at around that 285 area.
Absolutely. VinFast delivered 11,382 EVs in June, fueled by strong demand for the VF3, Vietnam's best-selling electric mini car, and new models from Green Series. Okay. For the first half of 2025, the total domestic deliveries reached 67,569 vehicles. Remember, VinFast delivered over 97,000 EVs for full year 2024. VinFast is on track to surpass what it delivered last year. Their affordable lineup accounted for 66% of deliveries, highlighting growing middle-class appetite for urban mobility options. VinFast, VFS on the Nasdaq, guys. Go check that one out.
I have a good urban appetite for mobility.
Same. I took the bike this morning.
Did you?
Yeah.
So you've been doing that a lot lately.
Doing it, yeah.
You've been killing it on that lately.
Hop on the old bike ski there and see what we got.
Guys, SBET, I tried to give you I'm not going to trade SBET, just full disclosure, okay? I just won't do it. It's breaking out. So this one, you kind of felt that the higher lows were coming in. There's 28 buyer, and now we just touched 29. 28.86 is where it's trading at right now. I'm going to submit to you guys that 29.5 seller is going to be important. Then obviously 30. But why I say 29.5? Not just because of the $0.5 area, but look at this closing print. It literally closes a couple of shekels below that 29.5, and it topping tails into 79. Doesn't even move into 30. So it's putting in a nice, higher low, higher high. There was this candle here at 1240 that bamboozled you, because if you were trying to ride trend, this 1235 candle, it was followed by a lower low by the 1240 candle. So yeah, some bamboozlement, but that's, completely normal in the world of small cap gappers. That's part and parcel of trading these. You got to get accustomed to the way they move, right? And they're not as clear cut oftentimes as some of the larger caps. All right, nice. We just got CHGG at the high of the day, so now I set up at 77s. Let's see if we can get that. That's a little ambitious with this one barely moving, 10 pennies in the span of almost 2 hours, but I'm going to leave it at 77. Maybe we get a squeeze into that level. So I'm only in CHGG at 68, and now Zoos showing me 22s. I'm long 28s. Now showing me 24s. Can we get a spike up on my friend Zoos, which has been using, sadly, the volume weighted average price now as resistance? This one has been using the 20 EMA as support. It's basically been using it all day, and now it's been a bunch of lower highs. So this does concern me, right? With this area high here into 264, then you have another area high into 244, then you have another area high into 235, and now we're unable to even breach 30. So I am kind of concerned. I am super concerned here, kind of concerned, super concerned. We'll see what we get. I'm waiting at 30s for the first profit taker, then around 45. But this one can move in a hurry, but it can move in a hurry in both ways. So be on the lookout for that. Oh, CDLX held VWAP. Okay, I wasn't alive to that. So the CDLX pulls into VWAP. I was, earmarking this possibly as a flat bottom break candidate. But if it can take out 90, then we have another trade possibly here. The reason I say 90 is because you got 85, 90 rejections all the way through until you had that high day at 306. And here we are at 87s looking to take out 90 now on CDLX, Sharif, not CLDX, CDLX. So keep your eye out on that 90 break. But again, I want to mention, false breakouts on these small cap gappers are almost a dime a dozen. So yeah, even if we get above 90, it's not really the end of the matter, Joey. So that's it. That's all I've got at the moment. Oh, wow. CHGG just took out 72s. Now it's at 74. So this one's stair-stepping up a little more aggressively here. It seems like we've taken out some of the heavier sellers. I'll submit to you that 72 seller was serious because we've been rejecting that area since 12 o'clock. So almost an hour now of rejections at 72. And now we clear 73 with ease. And now we're into 74s. So yeah, that's basically all I have at the moment. Yannick, flat top break on Google incoming. All right, I'll have a look at it, but I won't trade these large caps, obviously. Here is Google. I don't agree with a flat top break, but I see what you're talking. You're talking about the 200, I'm assuming, Yannick, right? Because you kind of got into that 19. Oh, this is a daily, that's a weekly. What am I doing here, bro? All right, yes, okay, 190.50. 190.50. I see what you're saying, Yannick. I absolutely agree with you, my man. You've got an ascending wedge with higher lows on goggles with that 190.50 seller still being a damper on everyone's long party. So yeah, totally see that. It could easily squeeze into the high a day, if not more. Agree with you on that, Yannick. But definitely keep your eye on some lower lows manifesting here, possibly on the 5. But yeah, I agree with your look on goggles there. Joey, what do you got, my man?
Yeah, for sure. Same thing here, guys. So we had the ability to sit through this pullback, just waiting for target, right? It's either it's going to hit, and then we just essentially wipe out all our losses out of the day, or we just take a break-even stop. So it's going to leave me either slightly positive or just at the exact same spot where I currently started this trade. Yeah, we could have locked some profits in, reloaded some, but yeah, that's what I got going on. If you here's Google looking like, we just talked about Google. It does look like it's going to break here. I'll just go over it one more time. There is a clear flat top right there. But one thing to note is, though, that volume is really starting to cool off. You want to see that pick up, or maybe this was enough liquidity absorbed in order for it to slowly grind higher. But it's really tough. I'll be honest with you guys. It's really tough shorting the Nasdaq, especially when the tech sector is just so strong. That being said, even though we have dumped earlier in the day, let's pull up the top performing sectors of the session to see where we're going to find some relative strength. All right.
Okay.
So there it is, healthcare sector being the top one on the day, up 1.5%, sitting in that show place, in the place section here, we got a 1% here in real estate, materials, roughly around 1%. Bottom three, we got the communication service still holding on to slightly green, industrial, same thing by a thread. And then there you go, the technology sector is down 1% on the day. And who knows if it's going to continue to climb more. Yeah, or it decides to move in a different direction here because the names are starting to rebound. Market wasn't really following when Amazon and Microsoft were continuously tanking. We obviously have the first half hour, 40 minutes where the Nasdaq was selling, but you can see that continuous throughout the session that Microsoft was moving lower and lower. And then Apple is something that you need to keep an eye out because if it does decide to want to break out to the top side, then I will have to get out of the Nasdaq because it will drag it higher and higher. So that's what I got going on right now. Just cooling and seeing if this trade is either going to hit target or we're going to get stopped out break even. I won't hold this trade for a loss whatsoever, no matter how frustrating it may be. We did add right here using a little bit more of our unrealized gains to add more into the position. You do get this move lower. This hammer candle is not a good sight. I know this is where Gorev was long off of, and that worked out relatively well for him. You just get that move from 86.13 all the way to about 86 halves and continuing to climb. So as soon as it comes back to this level, I will get out of this trade, and it's unfortunate that we didn't have the ability to hold to target if it decides to go there. If not, then it's just not my day, and then I'll just accept the fact and then continuously move on. So yeah, that's what I got cooking up. Options chain wise, we can take a look at the Nasdaq to see if there's anything specific or anything that stands out to us on the week, and if there is, then hey, that can give us a definitive range. I thought we were going to head towards 555 because I think last time we checked that was where the largest amount of open interest was laying, and I still believe it's the case on the put side. That is 555. We got 17,500 current open contracts, and if we go over to the call side, we have about 13,000 at 565. So a strike higher, but that is on the call side. So maybe a little bit of pinning price action right there, and that can justify a little bit of the consolidation that we've been experiencing throughout the session, with the exception of what we've seen in the first half hour or 35 minutes of the day, but nothing outstanding on this week's expiration cycle. We do have Tesla. Curious to see if any size has grown here that will give us that definitive move, or like say, hey, we're going to reject that. 350 has on the call side, that is, has 34,600 current open contracts expiring this week. So keep that in mind. Maybe you'll see some resistance at 350 if it decides to get there, and then maybe you can base a trade off of that. But you always want to read what the price action is telling you. If the volatility in the momentum is just blowing past that, you don't necessarily want to short it right away. You want to give it some time, let things cool off, and then set yourself up with a potential opportunity there. And then on the put side, we have 12,800 at 320. And if we go over the expected move here, Sharif, which we're going to do in 1 second, we know that I believe it was around just a little bit under 7%, but we're going to double check on this one just so we get our facts straight. Oh, what happened there? So yeah, 7%, just a little bit under that. 7% right here. Expected move 353 and 307. It's going to be your potential highs and lows for this or for tomorrow's aftermarket close. Expected move on Tesla, Sharif.
Yeah, I just got stop hunted on Zeus, guys. Yeah, so this one broke trend. Stop me out at the bottom wick. These always feel the worst because you always say to yourself, oh, I just could have given it another penny, look, and I'd be in the money substantially. And then it drops down right where I had my stop, then rockets right back up, would have filled a bunch of my orders. So a little frustrating. Now I can punch back in here, but I'm just unsure about the trend. So I don't feel comfortable just punching back in willy-nilly. These always feel the worst. Even though they're not really that bad, when you look at the P&L, it doesn't end up affecting it that much. It's just the psychology part of it. This bothers me. It's the way it is. Anyway, I'm back into FFIE. Faraday future over here. Let's see what this one does. Look, just took a print there at 3. This one's curling up. It feels like it's making yet another attempt, maybe at that high of the day. So that's the look there. All right, guys, I want to bring your attention to the voting. Every day, we get up on the green screen, we talk about the afternoon rundown. The afternoon rundown, unlike the morning rundown, is decided by you guys. You guys tell us exactly what you want to talk about. The main tickers, the top 5, will get covered there. Obi and Neil, they'll look at them. They'll tell you how they traded them or why they didn't trade them. And if they did, they'll tell you how they did or how they would have traded. And right now, Neil is absolutely leading the bunch. It's got 87 votes right now. That's the top one. Open as well, right there with 81. Get into the chat and vote for your top tickers every day. It is super easy. You just throw in that $ right there. Your 3, 4, or 5-letter ticker automatically registers and will tabulate all the votes at the end. And Joey will be on the green screen today covering for me. I appreciate that, Joseph. So get your tickers in now. Let's get that stream going. I want to see a bunch of different tickers come in there, guys. Let's get the voting on right now. And for now, we're going to send it to Adara.
Yeah, I just want to let you guys know, as you know, I am going on vacation. I will be gone from Wednesday to Friday, but we're going to have a whole bunch of TTV research infographics that I've been busy preparing that'll come out while I'm gone through my vacation. With that in mind, I want to introduce this brand new series. I just posted the first installment. It is this. What we're doing is I went through every single S&P 500 edition that was specifically related to a merger and acquisition from 2020 all the way to 2025, because if you have not noticed, you probably have, there's been a really sharp increase in these S&P 500 mid-quarter rebalances, which are of course related to often when a company is acquired by another company. There are 3 this month, the most recent of which is going to occur tonight and result in a new member of the S&P 500 being XYZ as of tomorrow morning. So with that in mind, just basically this goes through every single year and the S&P 500 additions that were related to these acquisitions, the company that was deleted from the index, and then the company that acquired the deleted company. So with all of that in mind, again, we have 2020 to 2021 in this infographic. The second infographic covers 2022 because there was a glut of merger and acquisitions in 2022. Then the third infographic will just kind of show 23, 24, 25, which is when, of course, we had that slowdown potentially related to Sharif's friend Lena Khan at the FTC. So again, long story short, check this out on X at TTV Research. We will get the next installments of this series while I'm on vacation. So you keep refreshing that feed. We will continue to get posts. Back to you.
When things collapse around here at Dare, we got to let everybody know why they're collapsing, because Adara is going to be on vacation. And
you are fake news.
I got that one. How come you don't have that? Assassino will do it for you. No, seriously, though. Obviously, Adara is our eyes and ears. She's always letting us know exactly what Trump's doing, saying, and where he is at all times. And if you haven't noticed lately, since January 20th, the market's been off. Well, actually, before that, since basically the election date, the market's been awfully volatile. Donald Trump has an affinity to move these markets, and I don't mind that too much as a day trader. That's what we need. We need that as day traders. We need volatility. Otherwise, what's the move? Like, where are we making money? So yes, it will be hard to follow what he's doing at all times. Brendo and I will try to cover for Adara while during the segments where we're not on everywhere else. So shout out to Adara. Enjoy a much deserved vacation. All right, so let's keep an eye here. Oh, Chegg is coming back down into 69s. I got 68s on here. Nothing really for me to do. I've already thrown my stop there. Zoos bamboozled me, so I'm a little bitter about that. Not going to get involved in that one for a little bit of time until it sets up. And then Faraday. We're a little bit out of the money on this one, but I'm still keeping my entries on prior bar low. And definitely looking at adding if it comes into 92. I feel like this one might have another shot at $3, if not more. 319, but guys, is the high of the day. FFIE, Faraday Futures, an EV car company. We talked about SBET a little bit earlier on. My opinion on this one was that it was making another attempt at the high of the day. So we get a lower high now. So the selling came in at 29, but have a gander at this. Sure, we rejected on a 3-candle basis on the 5-minute chart at 29. That's not good if you're looking for a move up. But what is good about this is it holds prior area low. So the prior area low, $28. Now it's at about 28.5. That's where we're holding up here, at least on these 2 candles. So let's see if we can get some higher lows, and then to take out the sellers that we're waiting at, that were at 29. We'll see what SBET has to offer us on the day. Keeping an eye here on fair day as we've worked right back up into 99s. A little displeased that I didn't get my ad on that one. I would have liked to share up a little bit to have a bit more skin in the game, so to speak. And then we'll see if we can take out that $3 level. HIT, says Farm Trader. Let's have a look at HIT. Or are you talking about high intensity interval training? That's HIIT. HIT Health. Oh, baby, what is this? Okay, so let's look at the scanner. HIT, there it is. Oops, show yourself, HIT. 196, 46%, volume 7.33 million. Okay, so this is a trade de novo. This just started moving. You can see the volume bars there really start moving at 12:45, so it's about 15 minutes old. It's a topping tail candle into 225 with a move, an aggressive move back into $2. Be careful with this one. Be aware of where the levels are. So $2 obviously a psychological level, that goes without saying, but the 10 EMA at 182, the volume weighted average price at 178.77. It's one of those anomalies where the 10 EMA is ahead of VWAP. That doesn't, sorry, that's not an anomaly. It's usually ahead. It's VWAP that's usually that's ahead of the 10 EMA. That's an anomaly. Anyway, no, we're good here. Just be on the lookout for those levels because sometimes it respects VWAP, sometimes it respects the 10 EMA. You don't really know until you've actually had price action proof. So I'm going to keep my eye on this one. Thanks to Farm Trader for HIT. That earned its way onto the side chart today.
Just keep an eye here on NVDA. We heard earlier that I guess XAI is trying to raise some money to get some more chips. Well, Elon Musk went on X and basically said what they're looking for. He said the goal of XAI is to have 50 million units of H100 equivalent AI compute online within 5 years. So NVIDIA, a little bit of a spike here on that. Either way, the point is XAI is trying to buy these chips, specifically these H100 equivalent. Could be a good look here for NVDA. Also, while I'm here, we're going to do a quick check into spready ticker land because why not some different coverage for stocks we don't always talk about. Netflix, below $1,200. Just want to let you guys know this one's super weak at day's lows, below that key 1,200 level, which we actually held relatively well even on earnings. I also want to mention here LMT. This is an earnings day one play. This one poised to make a new low of day as well at that key 420 level. So I guess that's getting a puff pass for investors today. Back to you.
What's the trade on Netflix?
Okay, I can. I like how you knew it existed.
I knew for a fact that you traded it. I just knew it. Show it, Adara. Okay. She's going to show us her trade in 1 second. Shout out to Adara. I almost knew for certain that she had traded it. Just based on the price action, I'm like, there's no way Adara watched that and didn't trade that. Great trade, Adara. So that's short. What's that level?
So that's 12. The flat bottom break at 12.11.
Okay.
So then took some out at 12.05. Took some out at 1,200.
Boom.
Still have a piece. Thank you.
Great trade there, Adara. Shout out to you. Good look there on the flex. It caught a downgrade today, right, Adara?
I'm not sure.
Pretty sure. Yeah, we'll double check that. I'm in HIT, guys. We're in at 6s. Wet the beak there at 10s. Looking for continuity here. I've put my current out at current bar low. So if it loses 93s, we're gonzino. It's got a seller at 10s and 11s right here of note. We can't really seem to shake them. So I'm on the lookout now for a bit of a move down. We've opened up a new candle. So new candle right now on HIT, back down into 2. Anything below prior bar low, which is at 93s, we get out, Joey.
Yep, absolutely. All right, guys. Yeah, so we're short here. I added to the position, and then obviously I made a small mistake and I got out, but it might be a good thing. I did hop right back in. I do have more size in altogether. So yeah, this was a big time mistake, but I mean, Apple is really starting to climb and break out here. There it is. The volume is picking up, slightly rejecting some of these highs. So if it does come back into the middle of the range, we'll be okay. But if it decides that it wants to climb higher, then we will not be, all right? So just keeping an eye on these. Yeah, that's what I got going on, really, to be honest with you guys. So we'll see what Google's up to. Microsoft's still hovering around those lows. And then sure enough, we have Amazon still around that same price area. If there's anything specific that you guys want to go over, just put it in the chat and we'll do so. I'm going to hop out of this TQ's trade momentarily as soon as it snaps this trend line, which I think is going to happen any second now. So just keep an eye on that. So we do have these consistent lower highs, and then now we're knocking on this door right at the volume weighted average price, slightly looking for this rejection, and then maybe a move back in towards the lower end of this range. But it's really tough shorting the overall market when some of these tech names are just going on the runs that they have been, and the likes of Apple, hovering around there, coming into the middle of the range, positive sign, positive, positive. So we'll just hold on to this as long as we can until otherwise. If things have different plans, then we do just have to get out and abandon thesis, because clearly I'm not in sync with the market today, and things just aren't working out. So rather just not give away the whole month, any positive, whatever we had going on, and then just come back tomorrow, because there's always going to be another prime time opportunity. And that's what you want to do, is just when you got to realize when it's just not your day, just shut it down and then come back tomorrow, because a lot with trading, you'll even see the ebbs and flows within your equity curve. It's like, okay, well, should I have been trading this day? Probably not. And then sure enough, you take a big hit on that one. So that's what I got cooking up. TQQs, I think we're going to Adair, guys. Yep.
Keep an eye here in MERC. Sharif, I might have a new small cap friend for you. It is worth noting the volume on this is nothing crazy. It's over 1 million shares, but not by a significant margin. I cannot find any news here on Mercer International. Only one social media post in the last 3 minutes, and the next one prior to that was 19 hours ago. So people aren't really looking at it. There's no news to explain why it's moving, both of which are kind of strange factors. But it does have a market cap of around $216 million. Float here of about 38 million shares, 3% of which are sold short. Back to you.
Era. Yeah, I hope it doesn't get murked.
Yeah,
to the downside.
We don't want to
there,
get. We don't like murkage.
No,
we don't want
It's
to.
not usually good when you get murked. Joe.
No, it's definitely not good when you usually get murked. But that's what your boy's getting murked today.
I don't know about that,
No, we wouldn't call it that, man. I mean, we still got plenty of risk left, but I gotta be. It's really, really tight. I'm only giving this about 10 cents or so. So I'm in at 45s, 55s. I have to hop out of that trade, and then that will be. We'll see and wait for the latter half of the session, 2:30, 3 o'clock. If there's anything that really pops up on the session, then we'll look to take advantage of that. So yeah, that's what I got going on. Roger, unfortunately, we can't do that, my friend. Go touch grass. I can't just get up and leave and be like, hey, Sharif, man, you got this for me? I appreciate that. I'll be back tomorrow.
But we were talking about that because the bathroom was not operable yesterday.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay, we're gonna have to go to the coffee shop near the store. So might be a little bit of a long delay between bathroom breaks on the show. It didn't end up working that way. But
imagine I just didn't come back and I was just like, hey, man. Touching grass. I know you got this covered, brother. It's not.
I'd be down, bro. I wouldn't be happy.
No, you would be.
I wouldn't be happy.
You'd be mad at me. You'd be like,
I wouldn't be mad. I'd be like, where the hell are you, dude? I wouldn't be mad.
What the hell?
Well, yeah, I probably.
But yeah, you'd be probably. I'd be mad. I'd be like, man, what is this guy doing? But yeah, Tesla is starting to head towards the upside. See, this is what's slightly frustrating when you're trading the Qs. You have to worry about such a large basket of stocks, and if they're all not moving in conjunction, then you're not going to have a good time. It's going to be trouble. Apple hasn't formed that breakout yet. Okay, great. You would think that when Apple started selling, the market would continuously move down lower. No. Money starts flowing into Tesla. Tesla now about to establish a new high of the day, right? So that's the really tough thing about trading these baskets. If you're looking to trade it, you have to focus on a broad spectrum of stocks, and which can definitely lead to some difficulties. I know a lot of people would love trading it, but at times it can be difficult, especially when different underlyings have different agendas, right?
Well said,
Yeah, that's what we got going on. So, okay, yeah, I got to get out of that 55. Yeah, so that's it for me there, guys. I'm out of the TQs. No more short attempts on my behalf.
All right, man. Setting up here on my friend HIT. We'll see if it's my friend or not. Look, we got one measly print on it. And we're putting in higher lows, but who knows how long that lasts for. I just don't have a lot of faith in this one. It seems like it definitely is ready to sell off here, and I don't know. I'm just going to let this one trade. I've put in the stops, the profit takers, and it's going to go in whatever direction it's going to go because I'm a market observer, not a market mover. All right, let's keep an eye on FFIE. Not much left on this one. Probably should wet the beak. At 3. Again, it's having a whole lot of trouble with 3. We got a bunch of outs on this one. Let's see if it can kind of move up. We don't have too many shares on this one as well. CHGG, not too many shares. It's really HIT that we're holding shares on right now. CHG back into 72s. That 77 print looks like it's going to go unfilled as that 74 seller has still yet to be shaken. He's still very, very insistent at that 74 level. And we've only had one wick move into 74 as well. So it's not exactly a glowing endorsement for a long. So it's really going to be focusing here on HIT. I'm looking for this one to kind of continue. But I want to start the news because I'm going to stop out here. If this breaks that level, let's see exactly what we're going to do here with HIT. I want to start the news. Yeah, let's start it because it's getting a little bit late. And just let that one go and whatever it's going to do. All right, let's start with, I don't know, this is not the biggest news on Apple, but what was important to me about this headline about expanding into Saudi Arabia is that they didn't even have a Middle Eastern presence outside of Dubai. So that was kind of interesting. It's like, why didn't they want an official presence? So for example, in Egypt, if you want to buy an iPhone, you've got to schlep over to like this authorized retailer who creates like a store very much similar to what the Apple store looks like, but not officially an Apple store. And so I never really understood the reasoning behind that. And I still don't. Now that I've read this article, I understand it even less. But the point is, they're looking to expand into Saudi and apparently into Egypt as well, with Saudi first. Now, they've officially launched their app store in Saudi Arabia with full Arabic support, marking a milestone for their regional strategy. Apparently, they're also looking to open in Turkey, Egypt, and they have a presence in the UAE. They're going to open their first flagship location in 2026 in Saudi, and it's going to be at a UNESCO World Heritage Site, which kind of signals that they're trying to take more of a premium brand presence. And I'll submit to you guys, that's what Apple products are in the Middle East. If you have an iPhone in Egypt, and this is very anecdotal, it's not statistical, it's more like your upper middle class or sort, okay? Not really the way it is here, but that's just basically the look there in the Middle East. Anything you want to comment on there, Joey, before we go on to Circle?
With Apple, Sharif, we know that they touched base in India. I think it was like in 2022 or 2023. And that started to work out really, really well for them, because I heard Brendan mention that iPhone sales are up 18% or account for 18% of the total sales, which is massive stuff.
It is.
And that's a big-time untapped market. Billions of people there. Really, so that I think if they can continue on that trajectory, then it's going to be looking really good there for Apple.
Good point, Joey. All right, let's talk some Circle. Downgraded today by Compass Point. Let's talk why. So they downgraded Circle from neutral to sell, and they slashed their price target from $216.10 down to $130. They really reflects, according to them, the diminished long-term confidence in the firm's economics. So the downgrade was really driven by the U.S. stablecoin legislation. We're talking about the Genius Act, which kind of raised concerns over the valuation of Circle, which at the time of the writing of this article was about $53 billion. Though USDC's potential remains acknowledged, the firm doesn't deny that, Compass Point is now taking a more cautious approach to their financial outlook, and I'll explain why in a second. They anticipate Circle will soon expand its distribution network, likely pressuring margins as they have to spend money in order to grow. They also expect, though, and this is what I was telling Joseph off camera, Compass Point, they also expect competition from banks and fintechs, not just banks, to launch rival stablecoins in the second half of this year, which may erode Circle's EBITDA and market share. So, you know, a lot of with the Genius Act, it gave a lot of these financial institutions the legislative authority and the kind of the backstopping to issue these stablecoins. And if there's going to be more than one, well, then, you know, there's two big ones right now, USDC and Tether. There's going to be more. And so that might eat into their market share, according to Compass Point. In contrast, Citigroup takes a different perspective on Circle. They initiated coverage with a buy rating last week, citing Circle's leadership potential in the stablecoin adoption. And analysts are kind of divided here, as you can kind of tell. Post-IPO, the bears, for their part, they point to the overvaluation, regulatory uncertainty, as well as the static USDC supply. But the bulls, they cite long-term network effects and the first-mover advantage that Circle definitely has. And it's now a regulated space vis-a-vis the Genius Act, Joey. So the market can't, or the analysts, I should say, the market, the analysts can't seem to get their...
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to say regulatory uncertainty. What's up with that? We just
got the regulation, dog.
Exactly.
I mean, maybe because it's like kind of new and it hasn't been litigated yet.
But
I have no idea.
If it's new, this is what you're looking for, right?
What we're looking for, man.
This is what crypto traders, other than I guess with the exception of DeFi, is just like, why are you going to say? It's like, why? I don't get it. How much more do you need to see in order to start to adopt this? And again, I use the Netflix and Blockbuster analogy. Just continue to complain, but eventually you got to have the ability to adapt as well too. So you don't want to be the last one doing so.
No, you definitely don't.
No.
And then you're caught. Yeah, all right. Let's talk some Tesla China sales. A little bit better than expected. So they reported a little bit less than 10,000 new insured registrations in China for the week of July 14th to the 20th. That's down 19.3% from the previous week, which had about 12,300 registrations. However, year over year, it's a little bit of a different picture. Sales for the week fell 5.7%, though the current quarter, see where I'm getting with this, is still up 72.2% quarter over quarter, despite being down 4.3% year over year. It gets super convoluted, but that's how Elon likes it, and that's what Tesla's sales as well as price action has been as of late. So their Q2 US sales obviously dropped 12%, contrasting with the relative resilience that they've had in China. Keeping my eye here on HIT. The year-to-date sales globally are also down about 4.8%, showing the broader challenge in the North American as well as the European market. Bit of a tougher one there. The management shakeup as well. Some people leaving, some others taking their place. Longtime sales leader Troy Jones, who led Tesla's U.S. sales for over a decade, has exited the company. He's going to be replaced by Raj Jagannathan. He's a current senior exec with the company, suggesting a possible strategic shift by Tesla and the product push and milestone. Tesla's actually doubling down in China with their launch of the Model 3 Plus. That Model 3 Plus will be a little bit different. It has about 500 miles worth of range per charge. Oh, I got stopped out. The company also recently surpassed 3 million units sold for the Model 3 worldwide. So that's a nice milestone there, Joey. But it's been interesting lately on Tesla.
Absolutely. And I mean, we talked about its expected move here, guys. There's nothing outstanding from a daily perspective, being like, hey, we're ready to do whatever. I mentioned this before. We do have these downtrends. We're starting to compress. So we're kind of getting the ebbs and flows within the market. What's up? What's up,
what the hell?
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, thanks.
Get it, Neil.
Yeah, what's up, brother?
What is that? I like that.
This?
I like that wedge.
Yeah, and this is what I'm talking about right now on Tesla. It's like, okay, what can happen here on this earnings report tomorrow evening? Do you break this downtrend? Does this price compression snap? And then you head in towards some key levels, and I think that can be definitely in the 368 to 370 area. Oh, that's a bull case.
I like the bull case. He's got to keep. Elon needs to keep his eye on the prize and not mess up the call.
And there you go. You said Elon needs to keep his
you heard it from
his
the
eye
man
on the
himself,
prize
baby.
and not get too excited on the
Exactly.
call. And hopefully he doesn't bring up Donald or anything like that during his call, because who knows what can happen.
All right, good question here from Kick POY. 279 Canadian super chat. My man, USDT is not US based, right? No, it is. So Circle. You're talking about Tether.
USDC, USDT.
So
USDT
Tether is not.
overseas.
However, Joey, with the Genius Act, they now have regulatory authority over Tether, okay? And it is now going to have to be backed 1-to-1, meaning that every dollar that comes into Tether either has to be in US dollars or US treasuries.
Yep.
Well, what the hell does that have to do with demand for US debt, Joey? Well, demand for U.S. debt actually might increase. I'm talking about treasuries. Because with these stablecoin issuing companies, whether they're banks or fintechs, they're going to have to buy U.S. treasuries or U.S. dollars to offset any money they get for the stablecoin. So that could create a new demand for U.S. treasuries. So to summarize two things, it creates new demand for treasuries and U.S. debt, which is good. So that lowers the interest rate a little bit that the government has to pay on their debt. And it also brings the regulatory curtain onshore. So even though they are in the Bahamas, and my understanding was that they went offshore because your boy Gary Gensler couldn't be trusted. Anyway, I'll just digress from that. They didn't want to be subject to the SEC, who was super wishy-washy with how they prosecuted, or how they dealt with, I should say, the crypto industry. So my understanding was it was never to skirt U.S. regulations. It was that the U.S. regulations were not clear, so they got the hell out of there. Now that it's been reshored, it actually makes them have to be regulated onshore.
Absolutely, and I was referring to this point before, Sharif. So obviously we know USDT tracks the US dollar, but at one point Tether, there was, I don't know how to phrase it exactly, but there was a tracking error essentially in USDT to the US dollar, which created a spread and allowed people to kind of make somewhat of a forex change and be highly profitable on the difference between the US dollar and the USDT, which was very, very interesting. It was a flaw. It was accidental, but it was an extremely costly accident, that's for sure.
Interesting. That's really, I didn't actually know that. I like how you tell me this stuff, bro. All right, just setting up some beak wetters
Apple's
here.
gone. Apple's gone. Yeah, that's why I got out of the queues.
What happened?
You can look at this. Yeah, as it broke out. And this is what I was saying earlier as well, too, guys.
Yes,
so we never really got that big time volume confirmation as we broke through some key resistance zones. It's just been more or less a steady grind. But this is what I'm getting at. Apple move higher, get out of the TQs because you don't want to be a part of that. It's too heavily weighted and has too much influence on the overall market. You can't be short the Nasdaq while Apple is deciding to break out to the top side.
All right, let's get
and
back.
Google as well,
yeah,
too.
Absolutely. Let's get back to work over here. GM. So it was a tougher look for GM. Obviously, tariffs hurting them. GM's been the better performing legacy automaker. Let's just be fair about it. Certainly better than Ford and, well, Stellantis. I'm surprised they're still alive. So EPS of 253, beating the expectation of the street of 244 on revenue of 47.12 billion, ahead of that 46.28 expected by the street. But net income fell substantially, 35.4% year over year, down to 1.9 billion, and their adjusted EBIT as well dropped 31.6% year over year, down to about 3.04 billion. Still beating, though, the 2.89 that the street was looking for. So a nice beat there. I don't know where GM's trading right now, but they were down about 3% in the pre-market despite the beat, as investors really did shift their focus to the tariff exposure. Not a good look. Trump's 25% tariffs on auto and auto parts remain in effect, obviously, with GM estimating that they will get slapped. They will lose $4 to $5 billion for their full year profit as a result. They say the second half will be more exposed to tariffs with the 2 quarters that have already taken place in the first half, but it has, according to them, offset. Why am I not getting stopped out? Oh, there we go. Okay. Just got stopped at hit again. It just lost a few up, so we'll give back some there. I shouldn't be trading that when I'm doing the renews, but anyway. Apparently, it has offset about 30% of the cost hikes through price adjustments as well as manufacturing shifts. Speaking of those shifts, they announced $4 billion new investments in U.S. plants, including moving some of the Mexican production to two vehicles to U.S. factories. They will also build new trucks and gas-powered SUVs in Michigan to reduce import reliance and lower their tariff impact. Let's also talk about their EV sales, because up until, let's just say a year ago, they were super gung-ho about wanting to be fully electric by, 2030 or something like that. So they sold about 46,300 EVs in Q2, but compare that to the total vehicle sales of 974,000, which, by the way, missed the expectations of the street, which was looking for 1 million. The loss of the U.S. EV tax credit, which starts in September 30th of this year, by the way, could pull forward, according to them, some higher Q3 sales. So if there's not going to be any more EV tax credit going to Q4, they expect, at least for the moment, that Q3 sales for EVs will be a little bit higher. And they did maintain their long-term EV ambitions to be all EV by 2035, but instead of being regulated by the government to tell them when they need to be fully electric, Mary Barra says that the market demand, the consumer demand, Joseph, will guide their timeline to when they end up being fully electric.
Absolutely, and we'll take a look at GM here. We'll pull up my screen. We're down about 6 1/3, 6.4% on the day, so $3.40 to be exact. But a nice curl off the lows. You can see a double bottom, but it's the opening drives that were really, really weak for this name and caused a lot of this loss. throughout that first 45 minutes of the session was right there. But now we'll zoom out and see what we got going on with GM from a daily perspective. Yeah, you know, that $5 billion hit, I don't like that, Sharif, that's for sure. Why do their margins suck? I don't understand how
You want to know the truth?
Yeah. Is it labor?
Legacy? Yes.
Legacy and labor?
Yes.
Right? Yeah. Costs too much money. Yeah.
They have trouble maneuvering, and I hate to say it this way, but it's a union issue.
Yeah.
And it
Oh,
has
okay.
been for
Yeah.
years.
That's fair. That's totally fair to say. It was only a couple years ago when they went on strike too.
Yeah, man, it was 24.
2024. Yeah, when they went on strike.
Unifor strike.
Yeah. I remember. And then the dock workers went on strike as well too. So a lot of that going on. But
And you can't blame those people. They need to live too. I mean,
Absolutely.
inflation
The cost of
hurt
living.
everybody's
Yeah,
pocket.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I'm just saying
Blame.
that if you're going to compare these legacy automakers to the Chinese, who don't have to deal with unions, let's just be honest.
No.
They don't worry nearly as much about the environment. They don't have as much regulations keeping them down, so their costs are a lot better.
You know what? And speaking of unions, I worked for one for a long time. It's actually very, very cost inefficient. So what you make is only a fraction of what the company actually pays the union. So there's a member fee, right? So say you make $40 an hour, but really they have to pay about $70 an hour because X amount of that goes into a pension fund, vacation pay, and then also the fees as well too to employ the individuals. So it's just not a flat rate. There's a lot going on behind the unions where you have to fork over consistent cash. Yeah.
Very interesting. Yeah, there you go.
Adara.
We have a tariff update from Donald Trump on Truth Social, and it has to do with the Philippines. Of course, he did just meet with the president of the Philippines. I'm going to read his post. President Ferdinand Marco of the Philippines is just leaving the White House with all of his many representatives. It was a beautiful visit, and we concluded our trade deal, whereby the Philippines is going open market with the U.S. and zero tariffs. The Philippines will pay a 19% tariff. So, he just says again, thank you to the president. I'm not going to read the rest of the post because it's not really relevant, but the 19% tariff is only 1% lower than the 20% tariff Trump had initially posed for the Philippines in the tariff letter. It's also higher than the 17% tariff on Liberation Day. So this odd middle 19% tariff is at watch here for the Philippines. The fact that it's so close to the tariff letter, though, does suggest that Trump was being very serious when he said that the tariff letters are, in fact, the trade deals. Sounds like basically those are the rates that he's willing to go with. Back to you.
Thank you very much for that, Adair.
Plot twist.
1% difference.
Yeah, there you go. Bang.
Interesting.
We'll take it. Mark, price it in, Sharif.
You want? Oh, go ahead, Joey.
No, I'm just reading something from Bakes Cakes, Andrew Bakes Cakes. Plot twist: the Philippines will not be buying anything from the U.S. anyways.
yeah, exactly. Well, the U.S. doesn't export that much, right? Like they want to, obviously, and I think that's what Donald's pushing for. We'll have to see how that all works out. Let's talk a little Oracle and OpenAI. And Microsoft obviously looking to expand their infrastructure and Stargate with an energy boost. So Oracle and OpenAI backed by Softy. More on that relationship in a minute as it's crumbling before our very eyes. We'll add 4.5 gigawatts of Stargate AI data power for Stargate AI data center capacity in the U.S., raising total development capacity to over 5 gigawatts. Just want to remind you guys, China's adding terawatts, okay? So the build-out is part of the broader Stargate project aiming at scaling AI training infrastructure with over 2 million chips powering operations. In case you forgot what Stargate is, because it's been a little minute since it was announced in the Oval Office, it's a construction in Abilene, Texas, well underway according to some reports here, with some sections already operational. Oracle started delivering the GB200. So the difference between the 200 and the GB200 is the GB are paired to a board. They're already sending those racks to support OpenAI's next-gen model development and early training workloads. These are already live. So OpenAI apparently is also evaluating new data center sites out in Michigan, Wisconsin, Wyoming, New Mexico, Georgia, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. It really kind of points to their long-term foothold that they want to secure, and they want to secure it near diverse energy sources and regional compute capacity across the U.S. And we know that there's $500 billion over a 4-year project, which involves SoftBank, Oracle, ARM, and NVIDIA. and it's a good look here. Oracle was also named a key partner in the Stargate UAE, which is Dubai, alongside OpenAI, NVIDIA, Cisco, and G42, that Emirati AI company. Joey, not a bad look here. America needs more power to power the AI craze, as well as these EVs. We talk less about that now, but certainly you need more power.
Absolutely. All right, new traders, listen up. First month, free. That's right, we're waiving fees. Trade smarter, not harder. Upgrade to Elite, analyze, strategize, capitalize. Our platform, it's everything. Infinite data, instant trading, lightning fast market insights, game-changing charts, predict with back testing, reliable real-time data, global markets at your fingertips, all in one platform. Don't miss out. Execute your best trades now. Ready to elevate your trading? Scan the QR code or check the link in the description. Now, yeah, just back to Oracle briefly here, guys. A big-time move just from a technical standpoint off of Liberation Day lows. I think this name is up over 100%. So, yeah, exactly. Right around 100%, so a low of 119.50, now trading around 239, and we'll call it 240. So that's a 100% move that we've experienced off of the April lows in Oracle here, Shreve.
All right, let's talk some Shopify getting downgraded today on valuation concerns. Loop Capital downgrading Shop to hold from buy, maintaining, though, that same price target of 120 bucks. They clarified the downgrade reason here and said it's valuation driven. It's not because of deteriorating fundamentals or company-specific reasons, so they did want to caveat that. At current levels, they say Shopify is trading around 14.7 times the estimated 2025 revenue, which Loop says fully prices in at least their bullish case on the company. The firm believes the near-term upside is actually quite limited, making it less attractive for them at least, relative to other growth names that they're already covering. Despite the downgrade, though, Loop still considers Shopify one of the strongest long-term stories among e-commerce and software platforms. The note did suggest that the core business remains solid with no major red flags around execution or demand. So kind of, interesting there when you get downgraded on valuation concerns as opposed to any fundamental problem with the company, Joe.
Yeah, totally. And I like that you pointed that out as well, too, Shreve. So Shopify, Canada, shout out to them. What's up, Adara?
I was going to mention, Loop Capital is kind of notorious for doing this. They do this all the time. I remember they did the same thing with Reddit. They're like, well, we like it, but I don't know if we like this price right now. Like, this is what they do. They just, I've noticed a lot of their upgrades and downgrades, and this is not, a negative thing or a positive thing. Sure. It's just something I've noticed. They are so focused on valuation above all else.
That's good to know, Adara. Thank you for that. Yeah, and Adara does a lot of these, so good to know.
Yeah, very good to know. Thank you. And then off of the April lows as well, too, guys. 76% off of those specific areas. Almost a double top type price action that we're experiencing right here, Shreve. Almost to the penny, really right here at 129.27.
So we're back to almost all-time highs?
Yeah. So we're almost right back into that neck of the woods. Well, we were there, and then now we're starting to pull back a little bit here on all-time highs is way up here.
COVID.
Yeah.
Is that COVID?
176. This is 21.
Yeah, COVID.
So this is probably the COVID run up here, and then post-COVID, boom, gets hit extremely hard. Yeah.
Everybody, where'd you go, Joey? $28.
Yeah,
but that's post-split though.
Yeah,
it's split. I think 10 to 1.
Yeah, I don't think it's a split adjusted or anything like that. So there it is, Shopify double top right at that 125 mark or 129 mark right there, guys.
All right. Let's talk a little Lockheed Martin today. Interesting report. Look, there's a lot of bad, but a lot of good. So let's get to it. Sales, $18.2 billion, up slightly year over year from the $18.1 they printed last year on the quarter. Net earnings, though, down sharply. And Neil brought this to my attention right when they dropped earnings in the pre-market because he had it on Twitter. And he was like, what the hell is this? We didn't know why, but now we understand. So net earnings, they only brought home $342 million. Compare that, which ended up being about $1.46 per share if you were to measure it in EPS. That's down markedly from the $6.85 that they printed last year on the quarter due to heavy charges. We'll get to those. The program losses here total about $1.6 billion, with other losses amounting to about $169 million, which impacted their EPS, at least on the quarter, by $5.83. So it's really the charges that have had a negative effect on the earnings. The free cash flow also down to minus $150 million versus the $1.5 billion positive free cash flow they had in Q2 of 2024. They did also return about $1.3 billion back to shareholders via buybacks as well as dividends. Now, let's talk about why they took all those charges. So they have several programs here that are bleeding money. Their aeronautics classified program lost $950 million pre-tax, okay? Their Canadian maritime helicopter program, Joey, lost $570 million in recorded losses. Their Turkish utility helicopter program lost $95 million in other charges and write-offs, about $66 million down, as well a $103 million tax charge linked to IRS adjustments. So a lot of charges there. You hope these are one-off lines that don't recur into Q3 and Q4. We'll have to wait and see. Now, that's the bad side. What's the good side? Demand through the roof. We probably could have all gauged that, given that the belligerencies and the wars and everything else in the world are really starting to pick up with countries rearming. And so obviously that's going to spur demand. And that's what they said. Demand remains strong for core systems like the F-35, the F-22, THAAD, PAC-3, Aegis, or I don't know how to say this, as well as several new allied contracts were awarded. Also, the U.S. Army committed over $1 billion in missile contracts for satellite orders as well from the Space Force. And the CEO really emphasized Lockheed is positioned for growth inflection, whatever you think that means, as a global deterrence and modernization demand rises. Joey, so you hate to see these one-line charges which hurt the earnings on the quarter, but you like to see, at least from an investor perspective, not a human, that demand remains strong for their products.
Yes, exactly. So demand remaining robust for LMT there. Lockheed Martin, zero participation here on the recovery, down 31% off of those previous highs there, guys. So a really tough look. And then obviously after the report, you get this gap down, breaching some of these key support levels. So watch out on this one. I mean, when there's blood in the streets, that's what they say is a good time to buy, right?
This big spot. All right, let's do it. Trump Media goes all in. I'm talking about DJT, obviously, on Bitcoin. So now Trump Media, which is DJT, holds around $2 billion in Bitcoin and related assets, making up 2/3 of the total liquid assets of the company. The company says it's growing its crypto holdings as a part of a long-term treasury strategy to support the financial freedom, that's in quotes, and avoid institutional gatekeeping, according to the statement. DJT shares were up about 9% yesterday at the high, and it settled about 4% by around 2 o'clock. Trump's personal stake in DJT is valued at about $2.3 billion in the latest filing. And here's the deal. Cryptocurrency now represents the majority of Donald Trump's net worth on paper, according to Forbes. Don't come at me. That's what they're saying in the report.
No way.
According to Forbes. Yeah, they could be wrong, Joey. And there's more. So the Trump-linked DeFi, which is World Liberty Financial, has generated about $500 million for the Trump family since it launched in September. Trump is also the sole beneficiary of the trust holding these assets, even though they're governed and controlled by Donald Trump Jr. during Trump's presidency. And the Trump meme coin also added millions to the family's digital asset portfolio. And giving you some more information here, Trump Media, according to the reports, is pivoting away from media. Even though they're called Trump Media, they're now describing themselves as a cryptocurrency and financial services company. Its social media platform, obviously, Truth Social, remains low revenue, Joseph, but very important politically because Donald Trump goes right to Truth Social to give us his latest takes. Obviously, they are reposted.
Tells you to buy. Good time to buy.
There you
stocks,
go. There you
right?
go. There you
So,
go.
I don't know. Are you gonna start doing crypto transactions on Truth? Are you going to buy Ethereum on
I'm
Truth?
not.
If you
On
can?
Truth?
Yeah, if you can.
Can you even buy it on Truth?
Well, no, you can't, but eventually.
Well,
it just seems like
I don't know if they come to Canada and they give good rates. I don't have a problem with it. I have no issue as long as there's a reason to do it.
Yeah, totally fair.
All right, let's go on. So SRPT, Sarepta, they're in some trouble here. Okay, we'll talk more about this after we get back from Adara. I think we got to go to her at the big desk.
I'm going to mention here, we have Archer Aviation on watch. Founder and CEO Adam Goldstein just shared a post on X. So I'm going to provide some context. Basically, yesterday, it seems like the Delaware Chancery Court ruled that a shareholder lawsuit related to Archer Aviation's 2021 SPAC, or I guess how it went public there through the special purpose acquisition corporation, Basically, long story short, the Delaware Chancery Court ruled that a shareholder lawsuit related to this merger is allowed to proceed. However, Adam Goldstein's coming here to set the record straight, I guess, on X. He's saying that the company's legal team gave them a readout, and he said that apparently their strategy was successful because even though the lawsuit is still allowed to proceed, they were able to narrow the claims. So Adam Goldstein is basically spinning this legal announcement as a win on or on his own personal X account. So again, Archer Aviation on watch here. Back to you.
Thank you, Adira. Let's talk a little Sarepta. So they will pause all U.S. shipments of its gene therapy, Elevidys, by Tuesday following, sadly, deaths of two teenagers, two teenage DMD patients from liver failure. The pause follows a voluntary request by the FDA as the agency reviews the treatment safety profile and labeling. Shares dropped substantially yesterday after hours, about 8.6% down to about 12 and change. I don't know where they are now, extending Friday's sharp losses after disclosure, that was on Friday, of a third gene therapy-related death. The third fatality involves a 51-year-old man with limb girdle muscular dystrophy who was not on Elevidys, or however it's said, but received therapy using similar gene editing technology. The FDA has placed what they call a clinical hold on Sarepta's limb girdle muscular dystrophy program due to safety violations, and they've halted development of several gene therapy programs and announced, sadly, 500 job cuts amid the regulatory fallout. The company is working with the FDA to update the drug to include liver injury risk warning for ambulatory DMD patients. Joseph, I hate to even mention this, people dying and they're stopping a drug that's trying to save lives, but that's the nature of the game.
Yeah, unfortunately it is, and I mean, it's good because if they're going to continue with these trials, you don't want more people dying. No. It's just saying that the drug isn't doing what you guys thought it was, and it's unfortunate. If we pull up my screen, we can see this is why it's so tough to play these biotech companies, Sharif. Exactly. Really, really tough look. So you see you have a high of around 170, and now we're trading at $13. It's so tough. And when you guys bring these biotech companies, you say, hey, Joe, take a look at this, take a look at that, it's fine. We can obviously take a look. We'll obviously observe and see what's going on. But it's such a tough space to be invested in. I want to pull up Pfizer as well, too, PFE.
Good call.
Like, again, this is a dividend-paying stock, but essentially, this is COVID, right? Or no, this isn't even COVID, right? This is the COVID highs. And then essentially from then, it's just been trading within this range. So even at the high of COVID, it was $62. But the mean here around here is around $34. And then what is it, mRNA, I believe? Yeah, it's Moderna. Another tough look. COVID was its peak.
And like tone deaf, absolutely tone deaf. They keep talking about COVID.
It's like,
bro, nobody wants to talk about COVID. We want to hear about cancer. We want to hear about other ailments that you're going to cure with this mRNA, and they keep talking about COVID.
It's like that was 4 years ago. Like, what do you guys catch up, right, or fall behind? And it seems like they trod the latter half of this one, Sharif, with a high of around $500, and then now we're trading at around $32.
Joseph, that's what I traded this at.
Same.
Yeah.
I bought it at like $50.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I bought it at $50.
Can't believe
Dude, I took the same approach. I took the same approach with the weed, the Canadian weed stocks.
I remember that.
As I did with this, with the COVID thing. I'm like, who's gonna lead in the vaccine race? And I popped up Pfizer and Moderna, and I put some cash into Moderna.
I remember that. I remember specifically that. Yeah, those are early 2020.
It was like literally the most simplistic thing, and I wasn't even day trading or anything along those lines. I was just trying to put cash to work, and obviously, for those who don't know, I'll tell you the story once again. So my buddy and I, we were about 22 years old. We were living, 23 maybe, living in Liberty Village. And he said, yeah, Joe, you got too much cash. You got to put it to work. He's like, my company, my cousin owns a bunch of these weed stocks. I'm like, oh yeah, all right, cool. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. Canopy Growth Corp, Afria, and Aurora Cannabis. Boom. Take all my money and let's see what we can do. Bang, that's worked out relatively well for us. Years down the road, same thing. I'm like, hey, why don't I just take the same approach in an emerging market? Okay. Kind of like how the vaccine was, and see if there's a leader in the vaccine race. And that's when I stumbled upon Moderna. I think it was NVAX. and Pfizer, and then that's where I threw, or AstraZeneca, I believe it was, and I put some cash into there. Yeah.
All right, we're going to talk about Philip Morris next and the report when we get back from Adara.
Tesla's reporting tomorrow, guys, and TSLA actually just has a news catalyst coming through. Sorry for the weird transition there. California New Car Dealers Association reporting that Tesla registrations in California fell by 21.1% for Q2 2025. Now, it's unclear if that's a quarter-over-quarter number or a year-over-year number, but either way, 21.1% decline here for California registrations in Q2 for TSLA. Usually these are year over year, but if there is anything different there, any other data I find, I will let you know. Back to you.
Interesting, because my parents, like, they're in California right now visiting my sister, and my mom will message me every day. Oh, I saw an orange Cybertruck. Oh, today I saw a pink one. Today I saw a blue one.
And you just reply, Bitcoin, Mom. Bitcoin.
Every time there's a new high a day, and there's proof from him, from her.
Yeah, he's not joking. He's like talking out loud. Like you auto dictate the text, right? So you can hear him going, "Oh, hi, Mom. Bitcoin's at a new all-time high," and that's the whole message.
And I won't stop it, Dara. All right, let's talk a little Philip Morris. I love my mom. Philip Morris surpasses Q2 estimates and boosts 2025 outlook. Let's talk about what they did. They posted $1.95 a share for earnings. The street was looking for $1.91. Oh, sorry, $1.95 and then $1.91 adjusted. The street was looking for $1.86. Revenue rose 7% year over year, up to $10.1 billion. Just under, though, the $10.32 billion the street was looking for. So a miss on the top line, but a beat on the bottom line. Heated tobacco and cigarette shipment volumes are up 1.7% year to date. But they're not making money only on smoking products. There's a lot of smoke-free surge, and you know your boy over here loves his Zyn, and we're going to talk about that.
I wouldn't go that far.
All right, my bad. Like the Zyn. Yeah. All right, smoke-free products, Joey, grew 12% in shipment volume during the quarter. Smoke-free now contributes 41% of total revenue. So I'm assuming that means vapes and oral products like Zyns as well. Up 2.9 percentage points year over year. Zyn oral nicotine pouches are a key growth driver with strong U.S. demand, especially among younger users. And I got to say one thing. In this country, you can't advertise cigarettes, but you can advertise these Zyns, and there's one right by the bus stop near my house. So I think they're really looking to kind of push that product, at least here, because they can advertise for that product where they can't advertise their smoking products. So we'll see. They also raised their 2025 guidance, full year EPS guidance. Now they're saying 724 to 737. The street, or they previously guided, 701 to 714. So even the low end of the new guidance is ahead of the high end of the previous guidance. Adjusted EPS forecast also lifted 743 to 756, up from 736 to 749. The revision here really reflects a confidence in product demand, as well as the global expansion and the reduced risk of the products. I'm not going to vouch for that, but that's what it says here in the article. Joey, any comments on your friends Philip Morris?
Yeah, Zyns are not good. Don't do Zyn. Yeah, they're highly addictive. No, in all seriousness. I got logged out there. What is the ticker for Philip Morris?
PM.
I'm not even PM. Perfect. Let's take a look at this thing from a technical standpoint. Never, ever, ever have I traded this name.
Look at this thing, bro.
Dude, that is
Waiters had a swing on this, I heard.
Yeah. He was because they pay a dividend as well, too. So he was going to inquire if he could just get his dividend paid out in Zyn, but that didn't go out too well. So that's okay. Maybe we'll just re-inquire about that.
That's
but
good.
No, in all seriousness, 91%. From off of those April 2024 lows, let's take a look at Liberation Day lows. It wasn't even essentially affected, really, right? Like, this is some big-time stuff. Sharif, tobacco companies not taking too much damage. This is Liberation Day here, right? So this is those April lows. So that was just like a couple percents there. 10% it took a hit, and then now put in a new all-time high. I gapped down, but if you go by this previous trend, it's a buy the dip scenario.
It feels like that. Yeah, you're still putting in higher lows generally on that chart.
Exactly.
So, yeah, not a bad look there, Joe.
Oh yeah, let's look at that one. Way to point that out as well too, Sharif.
Yeah.
So if you want to go off these pivots and off of that previous low, holding up relatively well.
Yes, sir.
All right, Coca-Cola, last one on the list over here. They also reported earnings. I didn't review this, but let's talk about it. Adjusted EPS of 87 pennies, topping the 83 expected by the street, on revenue of 12.62 billion, narrowly beating the 12.54 consensus estimate of the street. GAAP net income jumped nicely here, 3.81 billion, or about 88 pennies per share, versus the 2.41 billion they printed last year on the quarter, or the 56 pennies per share, however you want to look at it. Also, organic revenue grew 5%, really kind of reflecting the price strength despite the volume softness. More on that in a second. Now let's talk about the regional demand, because this always seems to be a factor where North America is kind of weaning off some of these sugary snacks and drinks, and the rest of the world, I don't want to say sadly, it's up to them, picking it up. At least that's what I've been noticing lately. Let's talk about it. Global unit case volume fell 1%, indicating weaker demand across most markets. Volume also declined 1% in North America, driven by weaker soda demand. Latin America, okay, so I was wrong about this. Latin America volume slipped 2%. Asia fell also 3%. This is not good at all, man. No. EMEA, I'm assuming that's Europe and Asia, was a bright spot with volume growth of 3%, helping offset global declines. Sparkling soft drinks like Coca-Cola brand, like a Coca-Cola, down 1%. Juicy, juice, dairy, and plant-based beverages also down 4%. Water, sports drinks, coffee, and tea, flat volume. Coffee was up, but sports drinks were down. But as a group, they were flat. They cite macroeconomic pressure. So management cited economic uncertainty and geopolitical tensions as key drags on consumer confidence and purchasing behavior. Despite the weaker consumption, guys, pricing and strategic mix help preserve top-line growth. So I don't know how I feel about this. Remember we saw the Ozempic sell-off. That was that big sell-off there. And then we recovered from it. Now we're kind of sideways a little bit.
Yeah, a lot of sideways. I mean, if you're in this name, it's most likely for the dividend. So shout out to Warren Buffett there. And I'm pretty sure there's a city or a town in Mexico where all they drink is Coca-Cola. For all my Mexican individuals, please confirm. I watched an actual documentary on it. I don't know if it was... Adair, what is that? What is that magazine that was based out of Montreal? Vice. I think Vice might have done something along those lines. But yeah, so Coke is actually cheaper than water in some places of Mexico. Coca-Cola, that is. It was cheaper than water. So yeah, a lot of interesting stuff. I think you're going to be in this name.
So I looked this up. It's called San Cristobal de las Casas in Mexico. Apparently, yeah, there like a lot of people there are just addicted to Coca-Cola. Apparently, like this is not the only city in Mexico where it's consumed, because I guess that was what some people assumed. It's just the city where they're known for their propensity for Coca-Cola.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that, Adair. So yeah, it's just like the community just drinks nothing but Coca-Cola, which is absolutely insane in that heat in Mexico. But I thought you were a Coke guy. Okay, but you don't like Pepsi? Okay, same. All right, there we go. Bang. Yeah, I don't remember the last time I had I used to love root beer, et cetera, et cetera. Anyways, off topic. But yeah, since I got back from Jamaica in February, I've actually almost eliminated sugary drinks from my diet. So I don't buy any form of juice. Once in a blue moon, I'll get myself a booster juice. I did have a juice box yesterday, but other than that, 99.9% of my liquid consumption is water. The other 0.1% is beer. All right, so that is roughly it. But in all seriousness, guys, $68, that's where you're going to find that key support level. And I believe that this name is more or less for the dividend payments, right? That's what Warren Buffett for years and years was involved into it. We were just talking about cities in Mexico, Sharif, where all they do is consume Coca-Cola and essentially not water. So we touched a little bit on that. But here it is, key base level right around that $68 target. But other than that, you want to be in this name for the dividend stocks, all right? Or for the dividend payment.
Let me just
yeah.
Shout out to Eddie R. San Cristobal de las Casas is in a state of Chiapas, Mexico. Am I saying that right, guys? And as well because burping is part of their religious sessions. I'm not kidding. I have been there. I believe you, Eduardo, man. I appreciate that. Always giving us context. And I Definitely always want context. All right, guys, I'm going to flatten out my trade over here as the show is coming to an end. Joseph will be covering for me. I appreciate that, Joey, on the green screen as I got to weasel out of here. So, guys, are you looking to trade futures like the Nasdaq, the S&P, or even Bitcoin? Well, guess what? Top One Futures is one of the fastest growing prop firms out there, and they give traders the chance to manage up to $1 million in capital. And the best part, you can pick your own path. You can choose instant funded. You can choose the challenge account or even a pro account and start trading your way to real payouts and even a live account. And in the last 90 days alone, they paid over $10 million out and have earned over 1,000 five-star reviews from real traders just like you. So if you're interested, use that discount code TTV to save on any account, scan that QR code, or head on over to toponefutures.com and start trading towards your next payout. Joey, usually I'm pretty kind of chill about wanting to get off, but the bank closes at 5, and I got nothing that I can do about their closing, so I got to weasel out of here. Good to see you, and I'll see everybody tomorrow. Boys are that way.
I charge a 10% fee too, right?
Killing. All right, the boys are that way. Sean's on the position board, guys.
10%, bro. You got to step those numbers up. What do you mean? If I'm charging a premium, I better be getting 75% at least. Or we'll just make a jokes and be like, all right, 69% more.